Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is part 1 of our story. If you like this what if story and want to see part 1, let me know in the comments below. Before we start, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Also, check the description for more great content and my playlist. This story was posted by 𝐬𝐻𝗏 on Wattpad. Now let's start. I'm only gonna post the first 3 chapters, for now, to see if people like the idea. I know others have already made stories based on this, but I wanted to put my own swing on things. The post may be taken down at some point, but if people like it enough I will finish the story. When I was little I learned that not all men are made equal. Some are unimaginably strong and praised for their mere existence. And others, well, if it was up to society they wouldn't exist. So according to society, I am nothing. Walking down the torchlit hallway the young boy shivers looking at the same sludge man who had tried to kill him merely hours ago. Taking a reluctant step closer to 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 he whispers, "It's like a dungeon from one of those video games you use to play." That's because it is a Fing dungeon. Deku, did you not see those shirty monsters, or are you too useless to even look around yourself? Flinching back he mutters apology after apology. It's here, the boss room. 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 cheered, catching their attention. The Death Arms turned to the little group of civilians, heroes and villain. Us heroes will be the first ones to enter. Those who are not strong or those who want to leave can go. We will go in alone if we must, but we thank you for your help so far. Looking at the rest of the group and then at himself, he thought back on how as he got there, he had run out to save 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 from the slime man when a bright blue light swallowed them all up, sending them into a dark room full of monsters. At first he thought he had died, but the pain of dislocating and relocating his shoulder told the truth. Looking away from the group he had spent the past couple of hours with, grumbling he scuffed his foot on the cracked floor. It was clear he was the weakest one in the group, and he knew the only reason he hadn't died like the many others they had come with was because 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 had been protecting even if he denied it. Feeling eyes on him, he found the blonde boy glaring at him as Death Arms opened the door. "Stay here, Deku," he ordered before following the heroes inside. Frowning, the freckled boy huffed before following with the rest of the group. "Since when did I listen to him?" Walking in blue-flamed torches lit up the room, allowing them to look around. The walls were covered in mold and dust. Scattered around the room was giant statues. The rest of the people in the room were talking about the statues as well, pointing out they all held something different, be it a weapon of instrument. None were empty-handed. "Wow." The eyes of the explosive blonde snapped to him. "Deku, I thought I told you to wait the F outside." His hands crackled with explosions threateningly. "Look how big it is, 𝐀𝐮𝐿. It's huge." "It's not the boss, right?" Izuku asked, walking up to the biggest statue which was sitting on a throne. Backdraft shook his head. "Don't think so. It's only a statue after all." Death Arms, who was holding back the explosive Pomeranian, pointed to something on the floor. "What is this?" "Some sort of symbol." "Death Arms, sir, something's written here. I think you need to come." 𝐴𝐻𝐿ady called out to the unappointed leader. The green teen joined the group around a statue holding a slab inscribed in code. It was a code he actually knew, having found many in his search to find a code to write his notebooks in. And it seemed others knew it as well. Kārthanon Temple's commandments. 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 spoke. "First, worship the Lord. Second, praise the Lord." Feeling his shirt being tugged, he turned to see the sludge villain. "Hey Greenie," the huge statue. "Third, prove your faith." The eyeball just moved. It was looking at us. He looked up at the giant statue. "You must be mistaken." Chills suddenly run down his spine. "Wait." This feeling, it got so quiet that the air seems chilly. "Those who do not follow these commandments will never return alive." The door slammed shut, scaring the group. The door just closed. "What do we do now?" Someone screamed as another stormed towards the doors. "Damn it. Can't stand this anymore. I shouldn't have come in here." The man yelled, "I'm leaving, good luck." Death Arms reached out despite the man being too far out of his reach. "Stop. Don't touch the handle." Stone cut through the ground like it was hot butter and splattered BLD along the door. One of the statues that guarded the door held its weapon up in the air, having just killed the man in one move. The statue got back into its original position with a heavy thunk as its BLD-covered weapon hit the ground. "That thing moves. The hell? We have to fight those." Slugger screamed. "Wait. The eyeball. If that was really true, looking over his shoulder at the one on the throne. The glowing pale yellow eye stared straight at him. He gulped. Don't tell me. 𝐻𝗧𝗏 paled, even that one. Its eyes grew brighter and instincts kicked in 𝗫𝐵, he throwing them to the ground as he yelled, "Everyone duck." Beams of golden light burst from the eyes of the statue, incinerating everything in its path. Looking up, 𝗏𝗏 screamed as she found a burnt hand in front of her and nothing else. It's not just a few that died. 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 told 𝗃𝗧𝗏𝗡, I barely dodged it. Death grit out. If the green one didn't yell out, we could have been wiped out. Looking down, he found 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 in a state of shock. Don't stand up. Just remain in your positions. If we stand up, it will attack us again. 𝗃𝗧𝗏𝗡 crawled over to him. Only those who moved died. All the people who lived listened to you. He put his hand on Izuku's shoulder as they watched the statue's eyes smoke. Looking over, his eyes widen. Sir, your arm. The hero only grinned. It'll be fine, just help me stop the bleeding. Rushing, he grabbed bandages from the hero's belt and tied off the stump. Just now, the Quirk temple's commandments. First, worship the Lord. Second, praise the Lord. Third, prove your faith. Those who do not follow these commandments will never return alive. These were written on there. 𝗃𝗧𝗏𝗡, the Lord, I think. Means that one, right? Both stared into the statue's eyes. We don't have the strength to defeat them all. The hero growled. It's best to do what it wants, and when the situation calms a bit, let's try running. Looking around, his hands clench. If we move, we will be attacked in an instant, and even if we get past the big one, there's still the guards. It probably never intended for us to leave. Not yet. The slime man gurgled. I just got a big payday, I can't die now. He yelled, bolting to the door. What are you doing? Don't move. You'll get through that door and survive. Golden light washed over the villain in an instant, leaving only a tiny puddle of sludge on the ground. Bakugo yelled, finally finding himself. These guys can kill us whenever they feel like it, can't they? It would be easier than squishing a bug. 𝗃𝗧𝗏𝗡 was shaking in fear. They could have wiped us out by now, so why haven't they? Izuku mumbled, even if it could, it does not kill. It's different from the monsters that attacked on sight. The guard statue attacks when you approach the door, and the large statue shoots beams when you move. His eyes widen as he looks toward the commandments. They attack in a pattern. It can't be. The commandments. That's it. Standing up, Bakugo tries to stop him. What are you doing, Deku? You're gonna die. If I'm correct, are you crazy? 𝗃𝗧𝗏𝗡 stopped the blonde and pointed towards his face. Those aren't the eyes of a man who seeks death. He doesn't attack those who move. Just as the statue's eyes lit up, he ducked down, stopping it before it could fire and confirming his idea. Everyone bow down to the statue. The others started to yell at him, confused, but the two with him looked at him strangely. Shut up. 𝗃𝗧𝗏𝗡 yelled at the others. You figured something out, right? Yeah, it attacks if you move past a certain height, and therefore doesn't attack when you bow down low enough. Worship the Lord means to literally bow down and worship it. He bowed down, so when you bow down to it. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 bowed down. This better not just be a gut feeling, demon nerd. An empty chuckle left him. Sorry, 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫. Huffing, 𝗃𝗧𝗏𝗡 joined, followed by the others. It's better than nothing. The light in the statue's eyes went out and nothing happened for a second before a smile with too many teeth took over its face and eyes glowed red from empty pits. Its face, it changed. 𝐀𝐮𝐴 points out. Is it over? Another person asked. Look, we can stand now. We get to live. No, not yet. The ground shook as the statue stood, making them look like ants. Don't tell me we have to fight that thing. Nerd, any plans? This place has its own rules. He looks the shaking blonde in the eyes. The first was to worship the Lord. The second is to praise the Lord. That has to be the key. Praise. Really, nerd? A man stepped forward. I will give it a shot. I was a member of the church choir. I've got this. The man grabbed his cross necklace and closed his eyes as he walked forward, praising the Lord. Is it working? It is slowing down. No, that praising the wrong God. The statue took one more step, turning the man into a bloody paste. Everyone run, don't group up. Running from the god above, 𝗧𝗱𝗏 stepped in front of a statue getting sliced in half. Looking around, the teen searched for what to do. If you go to a statue, it'll attack with premeditated attacks, but if we stay still, we will be squished. His eyes locked onto a statue with instruments. Bingo! Run towards the statues with instruments. Stepping in front of one of the instrument ones, 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 yelled out, "The statues holding instruments don't attack. Go find them." Looking around, there was only one free instrument statue nearby, so he pushed the older blonde towards it as he turned and ran towards one further away, gaining the big one attention. Bakugo turned around from where he had been pushed in front of a statue just in time to see him slide along the ground to dodge the statue's foot. Izuku. Blinding pain shot up his spine like nothing he has ever felt before. Looking up through the blinding pain, he pulled himself along the floor. If there truly is a God, please. Life and death. I was holding onto a thread that kept me from dying. But even now it feels like even that may break. The scratchy voice of a statue began as he collapsed in front of it. 𝐬𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫. The blonde boy ran over only to cover his mouth, horrified at the mangled stump of Izuku's leg. "I'll be fine, 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫." He knew it was a lie, but it was all he could do as the other came over, handing the blonde some bandages. "We started out with 17 and now there are only 6 left," 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 announced. "Yeah, and 2 of us are injured and 2 are just kids." The ground shook as the god lifted its hand, making the circle of symbols death arm found earlier rise up from the ground. "What is that?" Bakugo questioned, finished wrapping up Izuku's leg. "An altar." The others looked at him with confused looks. "You know, like the ones from mythologies," he stuttered, "ever from BLD loss of embarrassment, where they sacrificed living beings for the Lord. Cows, pigs, sheep, children, versions, etc. Breathing for breath," he finished. "And the last commandment is prove your faith." Bakugo finished. "This is most likely the last trial." Sighing, Death Arms walked over and grabbed him by his hair and headed over to the altar. "What the hell do you think you are doing?" Bakugo yelled. "It's clear what needs to happen and he's already on death row." Midoriya didn't even try to fight back, knowing it was true, but it didn't make it hurt less. Stepping upon the altar, 2 flames started around them. "What's happening now?" 𝐴𝐵 cried. "Greenie, what's going on?" Death looked down at him. After a moment of silence, he closed his eyes. "Everyone come to the altar." He listened as 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 followed his command, making one more fire was lit. "So that how it is? Do you think anyone would come to save yous?" Bakugo grit his teeth. "Yous, not us. If reinforcements were coming, they would be here by now." Looking over to the last 3, he didn't bother to try smiling. "You 3 get up here." And this time they listened, lighting 3 more flames. In a flash, blue flames lit up, forming a second ring on the outside and lighted up the patterns on the ground. And with that, the door scraped open of them, but it wasn't the only thing that moved. "What now?" "They are approaching us." All of them started moving. The statues started to walk towards them. "What's going on?" "Everyone, doesn't take your eyes off them." It didn't take long before 𝐻𝐻 hit the fan as 𝐴𝐵 ran for the door. No. To everyone's amazement, she made it through unharmed. "What? How is this possible?" "She's still alive." The door closed a little. "How? What is this?" A blue flame disappears after a set amount of time and a red one went out after she left. The first 2 weren't riddles like the Sphinx would ask. But is the open door a trap? A false hope? When all red flames appeared, the doors opened, but it closes a little every time a red one goes out. The door will definitely close when all the red flames go out. Prove your faith means that even in terror and danger, with sweet temptations, you keep your faith. "Sorry, I don't think I can stay any longer," 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 says before running out the door. "No." "What?" Death Arms shrieks. "Don't move. We can't have more people leaving." He yelled at the last 3. "Any less and we won't have enough people to look at all the statues. We will die." Dropping the teen, Death Arms takes a step back. "What's happening, Greenie? You just have to wait for all the blue flames to disappear. The blue ones are a timer. We'll all be able to leave once they all disappear." "You may be right, Greenie, but couldn't the door just close when the blue flames run out?" "Are you certain?" He remained silent. Backdraft stepped up. "To be honest, I never imagined a quirkless person could be so helpful. I always looked down on you. I thought you would have died by now. A lot of people have died in this room, but the ones who are alive are because of you. All because you managed to solve the riddles. I'm alive thanks to you. Thank you." Backdraft. "But I don't want to die here. I have a family." He ran for the door. "Thank you. Don't make me laugh. You running from here will result in our deaths. The door is nearly closed. It's too late now, but I finally get what's happening." Death Arms mumbles. "You should both leave." Midoriya sighs, what? Bakugo growls, his teary eyes never leaving the statues. 𝐻𝗳𝗏𝗡 take 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 with you. What? I'm staying. Chucking Midoriya smiled at the blonde one last time. I said I was gonna be fine, 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, now go. This isn't the time for jokes dash. He went limp as 𝐻𝗳𝗏𝗡 knocked him out. Sorry, there isn't any time left. He looks back over at the incoming statues. Please take care of him. The man nods and walks away. I will. Thank God. His smile melts away. At least I'm the only one dying. The statues grew closer. 10 meters, 5 meters, 1 meter come. He yelled as one drove in sword into his chest and dropped him on top the altar. I don't want to die. He thought as memories from the past surged up. Useless Deku. Go take a swan dive off the top of the roof. Give it up, it's not gonna happen. It's good to dream but be realistic. Quit it with all these betrayals. I have a family too. I don't want to die either. Glad for being the only one dying here. Stop lying to yourself, you liar. I don't want to die. The statue's sword was above its head ready to deal the finishing blow. If only I had just one more chance. The sword came down and time ran out. Alarm, you have completed all the necessary requirements of the secret quest, Courage of the Weak. What this? Secret quest. Completed all requirements. You have completed all the necessary requirements of the secret quest, Courage of the Weak. Wait, where is this sound even coming from? You have earned the right to become a player. Will you accept? Earned. What's going on? You do not have much time remaining. If you refuse, your heart will stop approximately 2 seconds later. Will you accept? If I accept, then I don't have to die. Yes, this chance I'll take it. Alarm, welcome. Player jolting up in bed, he grabbed his chest, breathing heavily. A dream. Was it a dream? He looked around his room. This is the hospital. His door opened and in come 2 men in suits. Are you finally awake? Who are you? He shuffled back to rest his back on the bed rest. I'm sorry if we surprised you. The man took his hat off and handed the teen his card. Detective Naomasa Tsukachi. Why would a detective want to see me? I was asleep for 3 days. Izuku bounces around the room. Sorry. My friend, is he okay? He looks away from the detective and the cat-headed officer to watch a nurse check the machines around the room. Yes, he's fine aside from a bit of shock. He's okay. You and 𝐻𝗳𝗏𝗡's were the only ones hospitalized. 𝐻𝗳𝗏𝗡's missing arm will most likely impede his work, so he might retire, but your mum has been hovering by your side this entire time. She just left to go get some rest. Would you like me to call her? No, it's fine, thank you. He bowed. How much longer will I have to stay? The nurse checks his clipboard. Just a few more days to make sure you're okay. The nurse smiles and ruffles his hair. He'll get you something to eat. Thank you. In the end, 6 people ended up surviving the dungeon. Heroes are meant to be able to handle basically anything, but this is new and unknown and resulted in a massacre. When All Might went to investigate, the only thing in that room was you on the altar. What? But the detective raised his hand to stop him. No statues or anything the others described were found. Putting his hand where he was stabbed, he shivered. That can't be. We couldn't believe it either. If the survivors' testimonies differed even a little, or if the body parts of the deceased weren't found there, we would have thought of a different explanation. This is just a theory, but do you have a quirk? Gaping like a fish, he shook his head. Oh. Humming, the detective stood. Looks like we suspected you for no reason. Thank you for your testimony. I hope you get better soon. Walking towards the exit, he put his hat on. The cat officer bowed, making the bell on his collar jingle before following. What was that about? Letting his hand drop, he looked up at the blue screen in front of him. They couldn't see it. Message, you have unread mail. Pulling up his shirt, he finds no bandages or scars. Even the ones he got over the years were gone. His mind was racing, trying to figure out what happened. Wiggling his toes, he frowned. My leg's back, but how? Not even Recovery Girl could fix the damage. Reaching for the screen, his hand goes straight through it. Not touch screen then. Voice activation. Open mail. The screen changes. Message, welcome. Player unread daily quest. Preparing to become strong has arrived. Unread, his hands clench the bedsheets. Open daily quest. He whispers. Alarm, the system will help the player's growth. Alarm, if he fails to obey the system's orders, there may be a penalty. Alarm, your rewards have arrived. What is happening? He stares at the 3 boxes in front of him. Was I hit by a quirk? Thinking back on the attack, he licks his lips nervously. Courage of the weak. He was broken out of his thoughts as a new box opens and the others disappear. Message daily quest. Preparing to be strong has arrived. Unread. Preparing to be strong. Okay, then check. The screen changed. Daily directions. Daily quest. Get ready to become powerful. Goal: incomplete push-ups 0/100, incomplete curl-ups 0 out of 100, incomplete curl-ups 0 out of 100, incomplete squats 0 out of 100, incomplete running 0/10 km. Warning: failing to complete this daily quest will bring a punishment associated with this quest. There was a clock on the bottle of the daily quest. This is a joke, right? He looked around the room, seeing the golden rays of the setting sunshine through the window. I'm hospitalized. How would anyone expect me to do this? He flops back down on his bed. I'll check it out later. As he slept there, the sun sank below the horizon. He never noticed the clock change from blue to red until it was too late and a new message popped up. Earthquake. Alarm: you have not completed the daily quest. You are now heading towards the penalty zone for a certain period of time. His hands sank into the bed as the ground shook and the room heated up. Looking at his hand, he watched as the bed turned to sand. Looking back up, he screamed, "A desert." Clenching his fist, he grabbed some sand. No way, was it actually all a dream? Pausing, he feels the sand behind him move and a shadow dwarf him. Turning slightly, he stared up at a centipede. A giant centipede. www. Quest directions. Penalty quest. Survive. Goal: survive until the time runs out. Time required: 4 hours. Time remaining: 3 hours 59 minutes and 57 seconds. You're kidding, right? Breathing, the green-haired boy ran from several centipedes, eyes dry, having run out of tears. Time remaining: 0 hours 0 minutes and 7 seconds. Looking back, the hair on the back of his neck raised as he became face to face with a centipede's open mouth about to bite down on him. Alarm: you have completed the penalty quest. The world seemed to tilt as he burst back into his hospitable room. Penalty quest. He breathed, struggling to fill his lungs with air. Message: your rewards for completing the penalty quest have arrived. Would you like to accept? Yes, no. He passed out on the floor just as a nurse walked in. Panicking, she called for help as his body lay on the cold floor surrounded by sand. Days later, some nurses were walking near a window as they enjoyed their break. So, did you see the boy from that incident? One asked. Yeah, he's been running every day since he woke up. Look, there he goes. The nurses turned to see Izuku run past them. Is it okay for him to do that? If it's light exercise, it's okay. Izuku came to a stop, propping himself upon his knees. He was breathing with a smirk on his face. He was sweaty and tired, but that wasn't gonna stop him. He had found out a few things. After all, the screen in front of him is not an illusion. Alarm: running 10 km quest rewards. Choose your reward. You may choose one of the rewards below. Reward: #status recovery reward, #stat point +3 reward, #random box +1. Will you accept? Accept. Reject. He is the only one who can see the screen. Accept status recovery. Standing up straight, he was surrounded in golden light like magic, and suddenly he could breathe normally again. He wasn't even tired. A power that heals your fatigue after exercising. It kind of feels like cheating. Not only that, but there are stat points and random box items. It's basically a video game. I get stronger as I increase my character stats, so levels would probably do the same. He sits on a bench. Status, skills, items, inventory, item storage. What's happening is like some crazy phenomenon. This is insane. Dressed in what his mum brought him, he leaves for the main desk. Can I take a leave for today? He rolls his shoulders, making his back crack. It's fine. Where are you going? The receptionist asks. I have to meet up with a friend to get my homework. It was an easy lie to come up with and an understandable one since she let him leave. Izuku quickly makes his way to the subway near the hospital, stopping at the entrance. He stares down the stairs and pulls out a green key from his inventory. Time to see what this does. Item: dungeon key. Item class: E-type. Key: a key that allows you to create an instant dungeon. You may use this at the third entrance of 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐴 Station. A key to another one of these dungeons. Looking at people's phones as they passed, he noticed a common theme, the seventh one. He muttered. All over the world dungeons had been appearing, and as of yesterday heroes had been sent to clear dungeons after China successfully cleared one for the first time. With the world in a panic, is it really a good idea to create a new one? Ruffling his hair, he looks down at the key. There's already so many, why not one more? Holding the key out in front of him, his eyes filled with determination. If this is anything like the other dungeons over the world, I'll be able to leave if it's too dangerous. The key started to shine gold, followed by the blue lightning and glow of a portal at the bottom of the stairs. Time to become a hero. Alarm, you have entered the instant dungeon. Turning back to the entrance, he found the door encased in crystal. No way. Why is the entrance blocked? A young lady walked past him straight through the crystal door. What is happening? He pulls his own hair. Am I some sort of curse where I can leave dungeons alive? Letting go of his hair, he looks at the people just walking past. No one can see it. And no one can enter. I'm all alone. Turning back to his notifications, it was different. Alarm, you cannot leave the dungeon. Either kill the boss or use the return crystal. Why did I think this was a good idea? Dragging a hand down his face, he sighs. I'm only level 1, how am I meant to kill a boss? Halt. Looking down the subway tunnel, he stands up straight. Walking down the cold tunnel, he runs his hand along the cracked wall. Lights flickering above, shaking in fear and quickly losing confidence with every step. This strong stench. It must be a monster. Halt. Jumping to the side, he dodges a large wolf with a metal jaw. Lowering himself, he watched the beast. My leg, it won't move. The beast growled and lunged again. Jumping to the side, his eyes watered. I've looked death in the face before, why am I so scared? The wolf charged at him again, only missing by a hair as he flipped away. How did I? Pushing himself up into the air, he flipped over the wolf. I feel so light. Rearing his fist back, he glared at the beast. I barely got my life back. I won't die now. He punched the wolf in the jaw with all his strength, sending it flying into the wall with a crash. Looking at his hand in wonder, he grins. That's right, I increased my strength stat. Looking back at the wall, the wolf was walking out. It's still stronger than me. He charged the wolf again. This won't do, it's not affected by normal attacks and it's stronger than me, damn it. What do I do? Running, he focused on dodging. What do I have that can let me beat it? My body and a weapon. I need a weapon. Inventory. The blue screen opens in an instant. Opening the weapons page, he grabbed the only thing on it. Slicing down, he cut the wolf in half as it lunged at him. The steel sword from a random box. Item, steel blade type, sword plus 10 attack. Alarm, you have defeated the steel Fong Raikan. Alarm, you leveled up. I love random boxes. He grinned, looking down at the sword. The sound of claws on cement got his attention. Now that I have a weapon, what to be scared of? Staring him down was 2 more Raikan tugging on the sword. He paused. Why can't I pull it out? He tried to pull the sword from where it was stuck in the ground. Come on. Pulling with all his strength, he ripped it out and swung at the wolves, cutting one in the side and the other caught the sword in its jaw. Right, steel-fanged. Gritting his teeth, he kneed the wolf in the chest, sending it flying with his sword free. He slices through it without trouble. The last wolf looked at its 2 dead companions and then him. Compared to others, yous are too weak. Even a civilian could take you down. He watched as the wolf was surrounded by shadows. Only red eyes showed but quickly disappears. Izuku pulled up his stats to see each one was leveled up by 1. Status name, Izuku Midoriya. Level, 2 job, none fatigue, 0 title, none HP, 205 MP, 22 strength, 22 vitality, 11 agility, 11 intelligence, 11 sense, 11 remaining points, 0 passive. Unknown max muscularity LV, 1 active sprint LV, 1. I put most of my points into strength, but I only got 3 points a day, but with leveling up I get 1 in each stat, so 5 points per level. Killing monsters and leveling up is more efficient in the end. Looking at the bloody corpses, he sighed and stood up from where he had sat. It seems like even a Deku like me can get stronger. Walking up to the wolf, he grabbed something out of his inventory. It's nothing great, but I don't know what I was expecting. Item, Raikan's Fong. Item class, none. Type, junk. A large sharp Fong of Arakan. You can keep it in your inventory or sell it in the store. There's even a store in here. The store opens when he mentions it. He pauses, reading the screen. Buy, sell. What does buying do? Alarm, your level is not high enough to buy from the store. Well then, how about sell? Selecting sell and confirming, he holds the Fong up to the screen. 20 gold. I can't tell how much it's worth since it's not cash. Then again, he looks into the dark hallways. This is a dungeon. He sighs. I can't leave unless I kill the boss. I always could get a return crystal but I don't know how. Holding the BLD-covered sword in front of him, and it won't take long for me to starve down here. The monsters may be weak compared to the statues, but I think the boss is still too much for me to handle by myself. Maybe if I leveled up. His hands start to shake, but I could always die before then. Oh. Looking down the hallway that leads deeper into the station, he sees a single wolf staring at him with BLD red eyes. Then, like as if it was a spider, multiple red eyes came from behind it. Taking a deep breath, he calms himself and glares right on back. Fear, for I am here. Getting ready, he chuckles. I've already died once before. The army of wolves and boy charge at each other. I won't die that easily. He sliced through several in seconds, but they only seem to multiply. So you all shouldn't die too easily either. His eyes glowed toxic green. Or I'll feel sorry. Alarm, you have leveled. Attack with ferocity. Don't stop. This world was built from hatred and fighting, so I can't stop or else. Alarm, you have leveled up. I'll die for real. And if I die, I can't become a hero and protect everyone. I will lose everything. I can't stay a Deku. If I can become stronger. Charging in, he screamed, Alarm, you have leveled up. I'll even follow these bullshit rules. Alarm, you have leveled up. Breathing, he dragged his sword along the BLD-soaked ground as he left the hallway to the main section of the subway. Taking a calming breath, he watched as hundreds of wolves stalk out of the shadows. Growl. Alarm, you have earned title, Wolf Slayer. Looks like the blade's all dull. Just like a game, it lost its durability. Sliding his fingers along the dull and cracked blade, smearing BLD on his hand, he smiled. Thanks. Thanks to you, this worked out. He looks out at a sea of red. Title, Wolf Slayer, a title given to a hunter proficient in fights against wolves. 40% increase experience against beast-type monsters. 34 wolf fangs, 2 worn daggers, traveler's clothes, hearthstone. That's more than I was expecting. Taking out the hearthstone, he looks up at the flickering lights. Should I return? He put the stone away. There's no guarantee that there will be another chance as good as this to get stronger easily. What would happen if I did use the stone? Will the dungeon just disappear? In the end, I don't know what will happen, and this may be my only chance. Advance or retreat. Alarm, you have leveled up. Alarm, you have leveled up. Every time I level up, the fight against the monsters becomes a little bit easier. You have slain Razor Claw Briga, you have slain Black Shadow Raisin. I can definitely feel myself getting stronger. Once the wave of monsters was done, he wiped the BLD from his face. Since they are respawning, they don't feel like living creatures. Therefore it feels like a game where their patterns are determined. Looking up over his shoulder, his eyes locked onto the ceiling. I can figure out the patterns and control the battlefield. A monkey dived at him from the ceiling, a cat on leech side. Pointing the sword up, he impaled the monkey before swinging in a circle, killing both cats, and then he swung straight down, killing a wolf. The color of the name changes according to the monster's strength. White means weak, orange means strong, and red means. Remembering the centipede from the desert, he shivers, very strong. Since wolves who were orange at the start are now white. I must have become stronger. Turning to the stairs leading further down, he gulps. But even with my current strength, I'm not sure I can beat that guy down there. A large snakeskin lies on the foggy grass-covered stairs. I'm getting goosebumps. Maybe my sense stat has increased so much I can tell how strong the monster down there is. The teen opens his status page. My level doesn't seem to be rising anymore. Status name, 𝐒𝐮𝐬𝐫 level, 15 job, none fatigue, 30 title, none HP, 1105 MP. 200, my sword won't last much longer if I keep fighting needlessly. Gritting his teeth, he makes his decision, and one step after another he makes his way down. Is it just me, or do these stairs seem longer? He mumbles to no one. Making it to the bottom, he stops to look around. Is this really 𝐒𝐮𝐬𝐴 station? The place was like a swamp covered as plants and even had a lake which fog rolled off. His eyes snap to the side as he brings his sword up to deflect something fast. He spat up BLD as he went flying into a wall. Sliding down, he coughs, trying to get his breath back. My sword. The place seemed to have gone silent as he watched fragments of the sword fall of the broken sword. Silently he gets up on one knee. I thought I leveled up quite a bit. Swamp's ruler, blue poison fangs Rasaka, but your name's still orange. This. Opening its jaw wide, it showed its large dagger-like fangs and rows of teeth. Are you the boss of this place? Spinning the broken sword around so the blade was by his side instead of his front, he stood up. I can't give up. His eyes glide over the snake's royal blue scales, analyzing everything. A sword won't pierce those scales. Punches won't have any effect either. The snake reared up shadows covering it, only letting its glowing orange eyes be seen. Hisses. Stepping back to dodge, he brings the blade up, slicing at the scales only for it to do nothing but glide off, sparking. I need to be super fast with weight behind my attacks, and at the same time I need to weaken its defenses. He grits his teeth. But how am I deal with these thick scales? Stepping back, he brings the dagger up, blocking another attack. I'll die if it hits me directly. Knocked back, he quickly gains his balance. Surrounded by walls of blue and red scales, his hands twitched. Every time it moved its body, it strikes him down, ripping his hoodie. 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫. Down on his knees, he could feel the ground shaking and blood drip down his body. I thought I got a bit stronger. But I'm still useless. How much stronger do I have to get? Grabbing his sword, he lunges up just as the snake goes to bite, to escape my past as the weakest. Give up, quirkless weakling. De means useless. 𝐒𝐮𝐬𝐴. Deku. Using all his strength, his blade hit against the snake's fang with a clang. Just cm from his face. With a grunt, the snake's head was deflected to the side. That nickname stuck because I'm weak. Crouching, he breathes, but his eyes never left the monster. Weakness isn't something to brag about. He ran at the snake. I know just how strong I am. Strength. 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫's hand burnt his shoulder as he shook, not daring to look up. A pressuring force that can make you bow and yield. No one's gonna come save me. Staring up into the sludge villain's eyes as it suffocates him, he pales in fear. Whatever the opponent does, pure strength will overwhelm you. The statue loomed over them like they were ants. And fear will make your knees collapse and dig your toes in. His teeth gritted in anger, watching the teacher just sit there, watching as he was beaten black and blue. I'm ignored because I'm weak. His notebooks fly past him, one of which was burnt with soggy pages. Even if you're knowledgeable or wise. I'm alive thanks to you. Thank you, backdraft. Or received thanks. All might grin down at him, in front of strength. I don't want to die. I'm sorry, it's easy to get betrayed. He attacks the snake. I have to get stronger. Slice down its side. I came here to get stronger. Trembling, he crawled back up to his feet after being flung into the wall. I have to become even stronger. He never noticed his eyes shining ice blue instead of the usual bright green. Dashing forward, the snake follows his movements with its mouth wide open and fangs ready. Dodging, he sliced its underbelly. Not yet. Get eyes and a smile with too many teeth stared at him from the depths of his soul. Compared to that guy, compared to the fear from that time, I'm not scared at all. Jumping at the snake that was coming for him, his sword struck the side of its mouth and down its neck. In a quick snap of its head, its jaw came down where his hands once were, making him drop the sword. Grunting, he latches his arms around the snake's neck right behind its head. Veins bulged from his arms as his hands digging to and cracked the scales. I put all my points into strength. If it's this much. He squeezed, crushing more scales. Hissing in pain, the snake shakes its body, slamming into the roof, and then body slamming Izuku into the wall. Quirk slipped down a bit. He digs his fingers in again. Die. Izuku crushed its scales. Die. The snake spat up blood in a hissed shriek. Die. With a loud crunching snap that echoed around the room, the snake stopped moving. Midoriya, Izuku still isn't back yet. A doctor asked the receptionist. Yes. He went out in the morning. She looked at the man. Why isn't he returning? It's past sunset. The doctor looked out at the early night sky. He's recovered a lot and will be discharged soon. The nurse says, checking the computer. Still, there's something strange about that boy. With the injuries he sustained in that dungeon, he should be dead, but now he's running every day. Huffing, the doctor walked away. Make sure I'm notified when he gets here. Alarm, you leveled up. You leveled up. You leveled up. Haha. Bits of cracked ceiling crumble to the ground as Izuku tiredly laughs, looking at the room. Floor ripped up, pillars crumbling, lights not even turning on, craters in the walls, and against his back was the dead body of the snake as he sat down to rest. Ha ha ha. He grinned. I guess I got a bit stronger. Alarm, you have slain Swamp's ruler, Blue Poison Fang's 𝗧𝗧𝗟𝗘. Finally calming, he checks himself over. My clothes are ruined. He raises his sword. The sword I just got is broken. Leaning forward, he groans. My body aches a bit too. He sighs, standing up, but in his other hand was a shiny black blade with silver edges as long as his forearm and unique scale-like handle. I obtained a better blade than before. Item: 𝗧𝗧𝗟𝗘's Fang item class. C-type, dagger attack. Plus 25 a dagger made from 𝗧𝗧𝗟𝗃's Fang. Able to paralyze due to leftover venom. To grant bleed effect. Can be equipped, stored or sold. Effect: paralyze. Attacked foes have a chance to become unable to move. Effect: bleed. Attacked foes lose 1% of their health every 1 second. A dagger made from a fang, not a bone. He twisted his wrist to get a better look at the blade, the dim light making it glow. The attack stat is more than twice my old dagger. And it has paralysis and bleed as well. Item: 𝗧𝗧𝗟𝗃's Venom item. Class: a type. Potion A pouch that contains 𝗧𝗧𝗟𝗃's purified venom. Obtainable by defeating 𝗧𝗧𝗟. Unlikely drop rate. Drinking it will give you hardened skin but will weaken your strength. Effect: 𝗧𝗧𝗟𝗃's Steel Scales. Minus 20% physical damage taken. Debuff: weaken muscles. Minus 35 strength. Compared to the dagger, this is a bit awkward to use. He put the brown bag and dagger in his inventory. I'll store it all for now. Alarm: the boss has been slain. The dungeon's interior will revert to normal. Looking around, the area was quickly changing and falling away in chunks to reveal a perfectly fine station. The grass blew away and water changed to hard tile as the snake dissolved away in blue sparks. Is it over? Leaving the station, Izuku held his broken sword, face now cleared of any BLD, and looked around. The moon was covered by clouds and rain fell steadily, leaving large puddles on the floor. What time is it now? Who are you? An officer came over. How did you come out from there? His eyes widen at the sight of a gun in his hands. Didn't you hear the broadcast? He pinched his leg to make sure he wasn't seeing things. What happened? Huh, what are you saying now? The cop looked him over, taking in the broken sword and torn clothing. Are you a hero? The cop raises a brow at the broken sword. Yes, that right. What did I just do? He internally screams. Excuse me. Thank you for coming to help. This way. The cop turns and leads the way. Okay. What happened? Walking behind the officer, they passed crushed cars and dead monsters. How did this happen? Did the monsters come over? Yes. It seems if the dungeon isn't completed within a week, it will break and the monsters can come over. Nearby monsters have been taken care of, leaving one big monster left. Feeling a surge of power, he looks over towards it, eyes icy blue, over there. He watches the towering buildings. I can feel it. We need help over there. This giant won't go down. A smaller time hero yells out the boomerangs he had thrown, only chipping its stone skin as other sidekicks and cops try to help. The police were running around trying to keep the news and citizens back. Please don't take photos. The giant stone monster cracked the ground with every step it took. Roaring, it slashed at the heroes with its large glowing blue hand. Please leave quickly. The cops yell and push people back. What are the heroes doing? One news report yells. How long are they going to fight? What a mess. A lady scoffed, taking a picture. That's a lot of damage. The street cracks open with another step. We need to figure something out soon. A hero yells, using his shield Quirk to block a blow heading towards the reporters. Excuse me, coming through. The cop that was leading Izuku yells. Izuku, on the other hand, stood at the back watching, trying to find out what was happening. They're not communicating properly. And their ranks are low as well. Most of them are rescue heroes, Izuku mumbles to himself, watching the stone beast tear up the street. How am I? I can't help here. I just lied to a cop to get out of trouble. I'm not a hero yet. Izuku frowned, staring at the heroes as they get kicked. Hey blonde, you said you had a strong quirk. Get your butt out here, we need the extra firepower. A female hero yelled, catching his attention. There stood Kakin on the outside. He looked confident, but Izuku could see his hands shake. Right. Even after a week. He's still scared. The blonde boy rushed out, sending an explosion to divert one of the monster swings. But he's still fighting. Izuku's eyes harden in determination and rolls back his right sleeve while holding the broken sword by its handle. A rush of energy courses through him as he steps back into a pitching motion. Compared to the boss I just fought, this guy is weak. No one was looking at him too enthralled in the fight ahead. He flips the blade in his grip before throwing the sword with all his strength. Will it be able to pierce the rock skin? Soon as the blade left his hand, a small shock wave followed, blowing the rain away from Izuku's body like an air shield, counteracting the blowback from the throw. If we don't get more heavy hitters, we'll all die. A sidekick yells, manipulating the rain to make water bullets. The heroes watch as the blonde boy backed up, dodging a hit only to watch something nail the monster in the head. The monster pauses for a second. An attack worked. Take it down now. A hero yelled, only for the monster to collapse and fall apart before their eyes. The crowd stared in silence at the destruction of the monster. And for a second all you could hear was the rain. We did it. A sidekick cheers as they stare at the piles of rocks. We beat him. Other cheer with her. The hero closest to the monster stares at the rubble. Our attacks didn't work at all until a while ago, but it dies after one hit to the head. What hit it? The armored hero looks around the area. Embedded in the monster's head was a broken sword. A giant stone monster that we couldn't scratch was defeated by a broken sword. The hero looks back at the cop. Excuse me. The hero quickly walks over. Yes. Are you talking to me? The new cop asks. Did you see who threw this? The hero points to the broken sword. The hero over there. The cop pointed to the crowd. Huh. There was a hero in a ripped hoodie there a moment ago. The cop scratched his head. That's strength and destructiveness. Was it a high-ranked hero? Oh shoot. I didn't think it would go down in one hit. The green-haired boy quickly walked towards the hospital. Was its health lower than I expected? In his rush to get away, he missed the red eyes watching him. Deku. Status name, Midoriya Izuku, level 18, job, none fatigue, 72 title, 𝐴 HP, 2220 MP, 350 strength, 48 vitality, 27 agility, 27 intelligence, 27 sense, 27 remaining points. 0 sweat glistened on Izuku's body as it rolled off him. His hair fell over his eyes, less curly with the extra length that had grown. A small puddle had grown under him as he did push-ups shirtless for the daily quest. His once skinny twig-like body was now made of lean muscle. The baby fat on his face had disappeared, his eyes had sharpened, and he had had a growth spurt over his time in the hospital. I'm coming in. A nurse opened the door. Oh. She squealed, blushing, and looked away. I'm so sorry. Izuku shot up from the ground, quickly slipping on a shirt, embarrassed. No, it's my bad. The nurse looked back at him from the corner of her eye. Wow, this patient. She held her phone close to her chest. What, his body always this chiseled? Are you being discharged today? Izuku tilts his head at the question. Shouldn't she already know? Yes. The nurse looks down, blushing. Is she embarrassed she didn't know? If it's okay with you, could I have your number? She holds her phone out. Number? Yes. I mean, if you are okay with it. He grabs her phone. Is there a test result they need to send me later? Okay, please wait a second. The next day, Izuku walked out of his room, hair a mess, yawning. Are you going to work, Mum? She turned around with a sweet smile. Good morning to you too, Izuku. Breakfast is in the fridge for you. Don't worry about going to school. I called and got you a couple of days off to settle back in. Stretching, he grins as his shirt rides up. Thanks, Mum, you're the best. You worked out. A bit. Walking over to him, she looked up at him. You look stronger and you've gotten taller. We can go shopping for new clothing for you later, okay? Rolling his eyes in amusement, he agrees. You don't want to be late to work, Mum. I'll be fine. Looking at the time, she rushed out the door. There is no way my body changed this much with just a few weeks of exercising. This has to be linked to my stats. Grabbing his breakfast out of the fridge, he warms it up. If stats really do change my body, then if I put too many in strength, his mind flashes to All Might. No, thank you. Looking over his stats, he mumbles. While damage is good, it's not good without balance. Strength and agility go well together, but health is better if it's higher. Sense is really helpful, and intelligence seems to be related to magic, but how strong is magic? Status name, Midoriya Izuku, level 18, job, none fatigue, 3 title, 𝐴 HP, 2220 MP, 350 strength, 50 vitality, 27 agility, 35 intelligence, 27 sense, 29 remaining points, 0. I guess this should be fine. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Mum just left, why would she call me? He picked up the phone. Hello 𝐒𝐮𝐬𝐴. I guess this should be fine. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Mum just left, why would she call me? He picked up the phone. Hello 𝐒𝐮𝐬𝐴. At last, you pick up. Bakugo yelled, why haven't you been picking up? I'm so sorry Kakin, my mum confiscated my phone for putting myself in danger. TSK, who cares? You just asked. He thinks sarcastically. Why aren't you at school? I know you're not in the hospital and class is about to start. My mum got me a couple of days off. Yeah, right, you don't need time off after what you did. What? Nothing. I said F off. Beep. Blinking, he took the phone away from his ear. What was that about? Grabbing his now warm breakfast, he sat on the couch to watch TV. With gates, as people are calling them, appearing all over the world and not enough heroes, the government has created new jobs to help with the problem. Sitting his plate aside, he turned up the volume, using stuff found in the dungeons a way to tell how strong a gate is has been found. With said device, gates are being split into power levels, E the weakest to A the strongest. With this sorted out and knowing if they are not beaten in a week, all the monsters can get out. A new job called Hunters has been announced. Anyone over the age of 14 can get a hunter license and enter a dungeon based on how strong they are. There are other jobs like mining ores and collecting the monsters' corpses as well to make new support dash. Muting the TV, he grabs his phone. Perfect. If I want to get stronger, he grins, finding out to register, I'll become a hunter. 2 days later, he walked into a construction site, soft hair blowing in the cool wind. He had an open blue jacket over a black t-shirt and blue jeans. Out the front of the building was a group of people dressed in armor. This way. A broad-shouldered man called out, waving, you're the E rank, correct? He shook the man's hand. Yes. Another person from the group gasped, ah, I know him. He's a pretty famous person. He's one of the first 6 people to have survived a dungeon. Really, but he's an E rank. Another yelled, stop it. The first man put a hand on his shoulder. His experience will be helpful, and he fills the number required. The man pulls out a contract. Like the web page said, you'll be paid 2 million yen just for filling up our final member count, and you don't need to fight if you can't. Good deal, right? Yes. He grabs the contract. Then please sign this contract. His eyes rank over the hunters, each one surrounded in either red or blue energy, 5 C ranks and 4 D rank. When I went to find a dungeon to raid, there was a rule that there must be 10 people or more to enter a C rank gate. Basically, to counteract that most new hunters or low-ranked hunters aren't too strong, they put a limit to improve chances if the gate being cleared. Seems we're both small fries. In front of him stood a gravity-defying purple-haired boy with eye bags as deep as the Mariana Trench. 𝗀𝗏𝗃, I'm 15 and a D rank. I came here to get stronger. This guy. His eye twitches. What's with this guy? Get up. A speaker sat on his neck, a capture weapon on his shoulders that and black and purple armor covered his body. Is he the son of a millionaire? I'm Midoriya Izuku. You two grab the bags, we're going in. The man from earlier tells them. Inside is food, clothes, equipment, and a first aid kit. Just about everything we'll need. Wait, what if we need to fight back? 𝗀𝐿 demands. The man just pats his back, dropping a bag into his arms. You don't need to worry about that. With us here, nothing will be able to get to use. Being pushed towards the gate, he sighs, dropping the bag he was given. What a mess. I'm not dying for a bag. It's time we went inside. An arm rested on his shoulder. Since you've survived one of these before, I'm sticking near you. Can't become a hero if you die. 𝗀𝐿 grinned lazily. Sure. Walking towards the gate, the purple teen doesn't leave his side. You have a mild strength quirk or something. Those bags must be heavy. He starts walking faster. No, I don't. The bags aren't that heavy. Thanks to my strength stat, this is nothing. The boy catches up quickly with a calculating look in his eyes. You don't need to tell me, not all of us have quirks we like. The boy remains quiet the rest of the walk. If I had just said this power was my quirk, my ranking would be much higher and I wouldn't be the bag boy. He grumbled in his head. We're here, the boss called. Wow, this is pretty unusual. The entrance is pretty big. Izuku watched a man walk up to the boss. Are you sure this is a C rank gate? It's a bit big. The boss stared into the swirling blue mass. Are you saying the government is untrustworthy? They are the ones who ranked it after all. 𝗀𝐮𝐲 glared at the bickering man. Fighting's not gonna change anything. He scoffed. I think it's a good thing they're thinking about it and not just charging in. The boy raised a brow to tell him to continue. The size of the gate isn't important. What is the magical energy flowing within? The government determines the amount and quality of the energy and gives it a rank. Strong hunters and heroes take on B and up since C gates and lower aren't that dangerous. His eyes are drawn back to the men. If they are thinking about going in, then this isn't just a joke or way to make money to them, even if they are determining if it's worth it the wrong way. 𝗀𝐮𝐲 nods, accepting the idea. I'm heading in first, everyone follow me. 𝗀𝐮𝐲 grabs his capture weapon and holds himself up high. Let's go. Steeping inside, he squints. It's way too dark. Boss mutters, create some light. He orders, and suddenly a globe of golden light reveals the room from one of the man's hands. What is this? The room consisted of several tunes on the walls and roof. Aren't there meant to be monsters and lights in here? 𝗀𝐮𝐲 looks to him. 𝐴 what's dash? Tapping comes from down the tunnels, unable to be heard by normal human ears. If there are no lights, it means the monster likes darkness. It's not that there are none. It's that they haven't appeared yet. Normally it's hard for creatures to live in the dark, but if they're intelligent. The tapping gets louder. That means it's possible that the monsters don't depend on sight, and move in packs, live in the dark and charge towards lights. Rocks fall down a tunnel. This sound. It's insect-type monsters. He yells, an insect type. The group stands in a circle, backs to each other. Could this be an ant nest? Another asks, don't say that. Panicking, the group looks around rapidly, trying to pinpoint the noise. Why can't I see them? They sound so close. There are too many tunnels. He looks up above. Izuku orders and no one hesitated. Fire shot up into the tunnel at full force, burning the giant ants, making them explode. The other guys used their quirks to quickly kill the bugs left over. Izuku looks around, seeing 𝗀𝐮𝐲 send the capture weapon through the ants with a dagger tied on the ends of the scarf. The rest of the crew work well together, free to use any weapon or quirk in the dungeon. Izuku could not help but gawk at the powerful quirks and skills on display while they did all the work. Their teamwork is pretty good. Izuku hummed, watching 𝗀𝐮𝐲 tear another ant apart. His equipment is good, but he doesn't have any experience or skills and hasn't used his quirk yet. Skittering from behind informs him of a bug monster crawling closer to him. I'm not gonna level up at this rate. Izuku kicks the insect, ripping its legs off and killing it. The boss, using a shield, screamed, blazing red power rising off him, drawing the 𝗀𝐮𝐴 to him with a yell. They have amazing teamwork. Too good. Izuku observes, killing a few bug monsters here and there when they get too close. It didn't take too long to finish off the last of the ants after that. Let's clean this place up. Don't exert yourself too much, we still have a lot to do. The boss looks at the monsters' dead bodies and turned to face Izuku. You saved us just then. How did you know where the monsters would come from? As expected, the sense stat does more than meets the eye. I just felt it. The boss nods. You have great senses, but it would be good if you didn't pay attention to such small things. Strange. Boss. Come look at this. The fire user called. Look at their wounds. It's not inflicted by a blade or my fire. The entire backside of the ant in question was missing, spilling green guts over the stone. It looks more like they were bitten off, and it's not just one or two of them. So that means this happened before it fought us. Was it some territorial feud? Or is there something stronger than these guys? A boss. The boss stops and grins. This smells like money. 𝗀𝐮𝐲, that armor and scarf are expensive, right? And what of it? He glares. I'm not sure, but you should be wary. The aura the boss put of at that time, this bad feeling, was that of the worst of humanity. A dungeon's size varies, but not according to rank. Depending on the interior, it could take days or just hours to get to the boss room. This dungeon was laid out like a maze, so there weren't many fights, but it took a while to move around. The group had sat down in a cleared room for dinner. My job was the baggage carrier. I was only able to kill one monster every now and then, but I wasn't really involved in the battles. It wasn't what I wanted, but to earn money and do nothing for it, I thought it was a decent deal. Beware of lizards. An unexpected warning. I don't know why this warning appeared. The boss, his and friends' faces seemed to be covered by shadows, but one thing I was sure of, my bad premonitions were never wrong. This is grave, the boss frowned, hand on his hip. Quite some time has passed and all we've found are corpses and dying monsters. There should be a boss, right? If there wasn't, the gate wouldn't be open. The man stopped making others bump into him. Illuminate that area. He nods up ahead. The man shrugs and holds his hand out to light the path. My God. The boss gaped at the sight. The walls were covered wall to wall in pure white web. Long dead ants hung cocooned like a caterpillar. It's the boss room. The boss brows scrunched in concentration. Get ready. Izuku walks at the back of the group with 𝐶HNSO. As they made their way down a few minutes of walking, they came across a room filled with large blue crystals. Izuku tapped his pointer nervously as he looked around. Crystals. How many are there? We're gonna be rich. The fire user scoffed. If you paid attention when you went to get your license, you would know it's called a mana crystal. The ones you get from monsters are more expensive because they have more power in them than these, but with the amount, they should fetch a higher price, maybe even over 10 million yen. Hey boss, with that much you think your brother would be jealous? Hey! The fire user snapped at the man. In this situation you shouldn't talk so lightly about his brother. He slapped the other man on the back of the head. Brother? Look at this. You're not always correct. The boss looked up at the blue crystals, a calm smile on his face. Ignoring me just because you obtained a high rank. You even ditched your country for America just for money. It's only been a couple of days and I can already tell he's being treated as a VIP and ignoring me. I'm not a brother who will grovel at his younger brother's knees. I will take advantage of everything given to me and become stronger. What a haul! Even after dividing it, it's 1 million yen each, getting tapped on the shoulder. He looked over at the older teen. Hand me your contract for a second, I want to check something. Handing over the contract, he looks back up. Sir, I've got a question. Midoriya's contract says nothing about dividing mana crystals, only magic crystals dropped by monsters. What's going on here? Isn't it correct to divide the crystals by 10 not? He sounded serious for once, dropping his sarcastic wording. It's silent for a second. We're splitting it evenly, of course. The leader smiles. There is more than enough for everyone to get their fill. Midoriya hummed, yes, but we need to take care of something first, don't we? 𝐶HNSO takes a step back, looking at the giant spider curled up in its web. Dungeon boss. The boss pats his back. Good spotting, but you should know by now killing the boss closes the gate, so we need to mine the crystals beforehand. Looking closer, the spiders glowed a pale red. Luckily, it looks to be sleeping after it filled its stomach, making this the best chance to move the crystals. Izuku didn't like how this was going. Sadly, we didn't bring any tools for mining in. He turned to 𝐶HNSO and him. I'm sorry, but can you guard this place as we go get equipment? The boss laughs before turning to his group, ignoring 𝐶HNSO's complaints. We will be quick, so wait here and make sure the boss doesn't wake up. The leader smiles too nicely for Izuku's liking, but he relents and just nods. Luckily for them, the mana crystals gave off some light, so he and 𝐶HNSO weren't left in the dark. Izuku closes his eyes and listens carefully to them walking off. Boss. The fire user asked. There was a 𝐻𝐮𝐬𝐴 pause as they waited for the boss to speak. Block the boss room's entrance. The boss's voice echoed far enough for Izuku's sensitive ears to pick it up. Greedy, Izuku turns his attention to the giant spider as the explosion makes the entrance cave in. Izuku felt a power spike in the room as he looks up, seeing the spider begin to move. What? 𝐶HNSO screams, those 𝐵𝐻𝗧𝗟𝗘 aren't lizards. He grumbled, as he just stares up at the spider as it lands on the floor, shaking it. Its mouth opens as it roars. 𝐶HNSO stands in front of him, ready to attack. Izuku hums. All 8 of its eyes were crimson red with rows of teeth in its mouth. Enormous size, long legs, and its strength are on another level. Izuku thought before smirking. Nonsense. Izuku's eyes slowly turn blue. 𝐶HNSO, stay there. He orders as the crystals made them glow brighter as his black fang dagger materializes in his right hand. That's mine. The spider roars again, and Izuku stares at it dead on. What are you, crazy? What are you gonna do? The purple boy looks at him like he had gone insane. I'm gonna. He held the dagger tightly. Kill it. Are you insane? It's too strong. Let's just think of a way to escape instead. He's right. I'm still weak. though I wonder why. He stands straight staring at death in its many eyes. I don't feel that pressure that would bring me to my knees. The blue poison 𝐻𝐿𝐼𝐻𝐼𝐻𝐿 orange slit eyes glared into his soul. In the station dungeon, it was strong for a boss. Even though it was an E-ranked dungeon. All emotion fled from Izuku's face. As a C-rank boss you are in comparison to that snake, unbelievably strong. Izuku's lips twitch upwards, roar. My current level is a C-rank boss. He reared back as the spider lunges with its mouth wide open. All 8 legs working together to puncture the ground and move its massive body. Is doable. Midoriya. Leaping he danced over the spider's back, slicing it up before flying off behind it as it screamed in pain. My attack worked. Green beal dripped from his blade. 𝐻𝐿𝐼𝐻𝐿's fong, it's a pretty good weapon, isn't it? He lands in a crouch, the reason a hunter is called a hunter. Izuku stands looking back. The real hunt starts now. On the side 𝗀𝐿 stood shocked and unable to look away as the 2 titans clashed. Is that really? There's no way. That's an E-rank hunter. Izuku ran a hand along the spider's legs as he weaves between them, each one breaking the floor as they try to stab him. Sparks fly as his blade and a leg collide. Its skin is pretty thick. If I want to damage it I need to cut as deep as possible. Crash retreating blue eyes stared into red. No blind spots, 8 legs each one can easily punch through the floor. Rushing forward he slices at its head. It's threatening. He slices down it back. And it'll take time to get close. Holly Esachi 𝗀𝐿 whispers, an E-rank hunter. No, there's no way. He could no longer feel his legs, but his submitted ranking was E-rank. Those movements are not of an E-ranker. Izuku crouched, a false ranker. Upon discovering Quirks gave off magic, the government started to use those levels to sort people into ranks, but some people could control their magic powers and rank lower. The problem with that is despite hunters only starting 3 days ago is false rankers are usually psychopaths who kill as their hobby. Skidding back, Izuku's side eyes icy blue, collapsing to his knees, 𝗀𝐿𝐼𝐻𝐿's arms fell to his side. Why did I come here to train? Dagger dragging along spider's leg. How long has it been since I started fighting the boss? Around 5 minutes. No, 10 minutes. Sweat dripped down his face. My stamina is slowly running out and I didn't even deal a lot of damage. Fatigue, 57. The higher my fatigue the slower I get. I can't draw this out any longer. There's only one way I can win, this dagger's special ability. Effect, paralyze. Attacked foes have a chance to become unable to move. Effect, bleed. Attacked foes lose 1% of their health every 1 second. Spinning the blade around so it faced backward, weak points. The head naturally is a weak point and the weakest part of the head is the eyes. The spider jumps as Izuku dashes forwards. Toxic green splatters out of the spider's jaw. See, like a flood of green erupts from the spider's mouth, landing where Izuku was once standing. Acid y acid. Izuku lands next to 𝗀𝐿. That guy was hiding his trump card all this time. Anything the green liquid touched had melted away in seconds, leaving only smoke in its place. I can't play around with this guy. Lowering himself, his feet dig into the ground. I have to be faster. Taking a calming breath. I have to close the distance. I need to be faster than just now. He pushes off, shattering the rocky ground. A bit faster. Active sprint LV, 1 skill. Sprint was activated. Your movement will increase by 30%. Every step cracked the floor. Blue streak followed behind him as he ran, turning into a blur. He closed the distance in an instant. Rushing the spider, he didn't give it time to react as he put all his strength into his blade as he chopped up the spider's face. Effect, paralysis has activated. Acid dripped from the spider's teeth. The enemy's resistance was too high. The effect was cancelled. I wanted to finish this as fast as possible, but breathing through his mouth, steam escaped with every breath. I can't get a critical hit. Fatigue, 61. His jaw closed with a click. A bit faster. The spider was surrounded in blue streaks, a bit more. He's fast. 𝗀𝐿 looked closer, just making out the shape of a human. His stamina will run out at this pace. He stands back up. What will he do? Breathing deeply, he went for the face again. Dump fatigue. 70. His body froze midair. Pulling his arm back, he blocks a hit only to be slammed backwards into the ground. Spread up. On the floor he cracks open an eye to see a spider's leg come for him. Memories of his daily quest flashes before him, status recovery. The clawed foot grew closer, accept. Leaping between the claws he runs up the leg. The spider screamed in shock. He drew the dagger up and plunged it into the spider's eye. Orange blood splat out and across his face. Pulling out he stabbed again. Effect, paralysis has activated. And again. Effect, bleed has activated. Your foe will lose 1% health every second. And again he attacks relentlessly, cutting everything he could reach in a blur of blue. Jumping off, nothing happens, it's completely silent and still. He lands crouching, hands crossed, one splayed open, the other holding his dagger. Blood erupted in an explosion from the spider's head behind him. The dungeon boss has been slain. With a sickly thump, the spider collapsed. Walking past the spider's corpse face, blood leaked out of empty eye sockets and flesh slipped from its skull, having been cut so deep that the skull had cut marks in it. You leveled up. You leveled up. You leveled up. Silently, hair covering his eyes, he walks towards the spider. Thank goodness I didn't accept the daily quest reward. If I did, I don't know what would have happened. He breaths out. There's no way. 𝗀𝐿 shakes. He really took down the boss by himself. Izuku cut into the spider's neck, grabbing the magic crystals. Definitely a false rancor. Izuku walked towards him, purple crystals in hand. He gulped. I'm gonna die before I can even become a hero. Stumbling, he grabs a water bottle from the bag and holds it out. 𝗏𝗏𝗏, you're thirsty, right? Here's some water. I don't want to use my quirk, but if I don't, he'll kill me as soon as I'm not useful. What's up with him? He was sarcastic and cocky before. He takes a big gulp of water. I guess I did save his life. Boom. In a cloud of fire and rock, the blocked exit exploded, revealing 8 men. Smoke and ambers floated around the 8 men who had trapped and left them to die. Status name, Midoriya Izuku, level 21, job, none fatigue, 0 title, 𝗏𝗏𝗟 HP, 2600 MP, 391 strength, 53 vitality, 30 agility, 38 intelligence, 30 sense, 32 remaining points, 3 skills, passive unknown, max muscularity LV, 1 active sprint LV, 1. The boss looks down on them, one brow raised. Those guys are still alive. His eyes lock onto the spider. Is the boss dead? The other men start to talk among themselves. What happened? Did they kill it by themselves? Was that spider just big and stupid? They looked at 𝗀𝐿. If it's that bestird's equipment, it's possible he could take down a C rank boss. The fire user stepped up. If a D ranker beat it, that's all the evidence. The boss looked over 𝗀𝐿's armor. 𝗀𝐿 Hitoshi, I underestimated you. His black and purple armor seemed to absorb all light that touched it. I don't know what kind of special ability his equipment has, so it might be troublesome to become his enemy. Boss, what do we do? No, one of the lackeys asked. We win him over, of course. He steps forward. 𝗀𝐿, I search you up because of your strange equipment. I never thought you would turn out to be the son of someone great. He grins. Eugene Architecture's chairman 𝗀𝐿. Your father, right? 𝗀𝐿 takes a step back, and I thought you were the son of some rich family. I wanted to talk about something with your father. Will give you a chance if you. His eyes flashed red in the dark. Kill Midoriya Izuku. Taking another step back, his hands twitch, raising for his weapon. Kill Midoriya Izuku and join our group. It's the only way you will live. The men draw their weapons, otherwise you'll both die by our hands. He laughs at the constipated look on the purple teen's face. Why hesitate? Nobody will know what happened inside the dungeon anyway. Are you perhaps scared of an E-ranker? He growls back. I want to become a hero, not a murderer. Growling, he looks back at Izuku as if he was asking for help. Midoriya? It's okay. He smiles at the boy, trying to reassure him. What foolish thoughts. It's a given that I'll be betrayed because I'm weak. 𝗀𝐿's expression dropped. No one should think like that, Izuku. 𝗀𝐿 grabs his weapon and steps in front of Izuku. If we make it out of here, then let's be friends. 𝗀𝐿 put his arm out as if shielding Izuku. That way you'll always have someone to count on. What's this? The boss asked as a bladed scarf pointed at him. You're going to take his side and fight us. Midoriya watched, shocked at the turn of events and 𝗀𝐿's declaration. Boss, what do we do? Fire asked. The boss had a thoughtful look. It's a bit of a waste to kill the son of a rich family. We need to take care of the weak one first. He pointed to the teens. You too. The boss stalked forward. Have you ever killed a human? Both boys' eyes widened at the threat. An emergency quest has been issued. Emergency quest. Kill the enemies. There are entities nearby that intend to murder the player. Slay them and ensure your safety. If this quest is not completed, a penalty will be issued as a result. Enemies required to be killed. 8 enemies killed. 0. The messages shown before his eyes making his heat sink. What is this? Dread fills him to the core, the system suddenly. The fire user's hand erupts into golden flames. A hero would never. Quest info. Emergency quest. Kill the enemies. There are entities nearby that intend to murder the player. Slay them and ensure your safety. If this quest is not completed, your heart will stop. Enemies required to be killed. 8 enemies killed. 0. The flames his dead on exploding in his face, launching him back into the crystal spikes. Midoriya. ――― screamed, his eyes going blurry with tears, but the boss didn't care. ――― Hitoshi, don't worry about the dead and come over here. ――― looked away from where Izuku had been killed to look the men in their eyes. Why, you murderers. Izuku laid over broken rocks, his once bright green eyes dull as they stared at a glitching screen. Why? Why did I forget that? He looked out of the darkness. Shadowy figures stood in the distance. This place focuses on the survival of the fittest more than anywhere else's. His hands twitched, grabbing onto the rubble. My thinking was wrong until now. The times I stepped into a dungeon, I stepped past my limit, but I healed and entered again. I mistook this place as one to train. He looked at his quest. Enemy. He pulled himself up. The system is forcing me to murder. If this quest is not completed, your heart will stop. Displayed in front of the shadow figures was one word: threat. Kill if you don't want to be killed. bnha leaked down his face slowly. Wouldn't it be a shame if I die? This isn't a coincidence, nor goodwill. Rocks fell from his body as he stood. This is what the system needs. A mentally stronger Midoriya. Izuku emerged from the rubble. HP 1360/2600. This power's not gonna make me strong. That guy is alive. Someone spoke. I saw that it wanted to make me strong. His face darkens. It's great that it's clear. Purple energy crackled off him, invisible to everyone else. The system uses me, and I use the system. Dude, has your quirk weakened? One guy joked. How embarrassing, he should be able to kill an E-ranker in one shot. The boss rolled his eyes hearing his team's comments. You should have done it. Seriously. The fireman's eye twitched at that. I guess so. I definitely put my all into that attack. I put a lot of firepower in, so how did it turn out this way? Izuku stalked over to them slowly, hair covering his eyes. Was my aim off? He walked past ―――. You played around with a person's life, so are you ready to face the consequences? What this BS is saying? The man crossed his arms over his chest. If you guys are hunters. His hair shifted when he looked up. You should be ready to be hunted. The blue eye that stared into their soul would haunt them even in death. I'll take care of this. A man stepped forward and wrapped his arm around Izuku's shoulder, grinning. It looks like you didn't understand the situation very well. Izuku's hand shined as he pulled his dagger out and brought it up to the man's neck. His face invasive, never looked at the man as he slit his throat. Blood splattered out, shocking everyone but him. The man died before he hit the ground. 1. Enemies required to be killed. 7 enemies killed. 1 W. Someone screamed. That bstd. When did he? Izuku took a step forward. Where did he get the knife? Izuku's eyes stayed locked on the 7 men. The boss sweats. No matter how unguarded the dumbass was, he was still a D rank. How did an E rank? Human BLD covered half of Izuku's face. I ended up killing a person. His grip tightened as he watched a drop roll down his nose. A human. He flicks his wrist, making blood splatter off his dagger. Although I can say the system ordered me, it doesn't change the fact that I killed someone. He took another step forward. But if I don't kill, I will be the one. His eyes locked onto his next target. I can't run away anymore. Step, step, step. If only the strong will survive. Memories of his first dungeon arose. Power erupted from his body. I don't know what he just did, but don't let your guard down. The boss ordered flames, give him one more blow. Flames burst from his hands as he ran at Izuku, striking him down. Your quirk is annoying. Izuku phased into existence next to his extended arm, his face only centimeters from fire's own. In a second the fire uses exploded into finely chopped pieces, no one even seen Izuku move. That bnha. Two men ran out, one swung a blade over his head and down at where Izuku stood, step, throat slit. The man spat up blood as Izuku walked past. Deflecting the other man's arm, he snapped it and stabbed the man in the gut. Another charged out. How is a E rank moving like this? Our attacks aren't hitting, he's too fast. Izuku ducked under the man's blade. If you guys are hunters, then try being hunted. Two ice-cold gems shined in the dark as the man's shoulders spat out crimson red. Hunters were made to hunt after all. Effect: paralysis has activated. My body isn't moving. The man crumbled to the ground dead. Is it a quirk? What's his quirk? A man screamed, strong. Stuttering ― had dropped his weapon long ago watching the massacre happen. I think he's stronger than when he fought the dungeon boss. Izuku sliced through the last three men. Effect: bleed has activated. Effect: paralysis has activated. Effect: paralysis has activated. What is this guy? One yelled as another had blood leaking from his eyes as they collapsed dead, leaving only the boss behind, wide-eyed with a look of terror. In a flash all our members. Shaking his head, he got ready for Izuku's next attack. Bnha, you were hiding your skills. Was it you who dispatched the dungeon boss? Izuku's eyes narrowed. Enemies required to be killed. 1 enemies killed. 7 The red aura from earlier emerged from the boss as he hunched down. I didn't expect all my members to be defeated. I'll show you that not all C rankers are on the same level. Red burst out of his body, covering both his sword and shield. Empower. The boss charged, leaving only destruction in his path. No matter how much of a monster he is, there is no way he won't be tired after fighting a dungeon boss and several hunters. Izuku stood still waiting. You can't break my defense by swinging a dagger with an exhausted body. You're fast, but speed won't pierce my empower quirk. You'll die in one hit. Time seemed to freeze as Izuku appeared in front of him, one hand up to cover the boss's face. Emotionless, Izuku spoke up for the first time since the first body dropped. Boss, you're strong. An eye peered out from his fingers, tears dripping out. But there's one thing you don't know. Izuku slammed the man into the ground. I'm always leveling up ceaselessly. Coughing, his head pulsed in pain. What just happened? Did he just slam me into the ground? Trying to get up, he raised a hand as if he was trying to get a wild animal to stay put. This guy. There's no way he's an E rank. Does that mean he's a false ranker? Wait. Don't kill me. He stumbles it to his feet. Spare me. I'll give you money. You can have all the mana crystals here and the magic crystals too. He stumbled back. 3 times? Izuku pet his head. Are you asking for forgiveness from someone you tried to kill 3 times? Realizing bribery won't work, he changed plans. Stop it. He points. Do you think you'll get away with this? He cried out. Didn't you say? Nobody knows what happens inside a dungeon. Dread finally hits the man as he realizes what's about to happen. Bnha. Do you even know who I am? Thump. The boss's body slumps as his head hits the floor, rolling, leaving a trail of blood. As it rolls, Izuku looks at his blood-stained clothes. They became a mess again. Good thing I'm going to buy new ones soon. Izuku turned to ― and sighed through his nose upon seeing the boy trembling. Rocks fell from the roof. The boss was defeated. The dungeon is closing. Let's leave quickly. Quest reward: emergency quest. Kill the enemies. Completion conditions have all been met. Will you revive the reward? Accept refuse quest rewards. Choose your rewards. You may choose from the rewards below. Reward #status recovery reward #experience points plus 10 reward #skill. Bloodlust. Will you accept your reward? Accept refuse skills active. Bloodlust LV. 1 mana. Using strong energy, the selected target is put in a state of fear for 1 minute. Several targets can be selected. Effect: fear. All stats minus 50% deep underground, time to get to work. A short brown-haired man sits up in bed. I need to get more BLD and cells today. He looks to the nightstand next to him and grabbed his pure white gloves. Maybe it'll work this time. He frowned seeing a drop of BLD on his gloves. Someone's gonna die. Detective 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐴. The man looked up from his computer to find his cat-headed co-worker. What is it? Sansa hands over some papers. A moment. 𝐀𝐮𝐴 starts to read the papers as the man talked. In a C-rank dungeon reign, 8 people were killed in action. The survivors were AD and E-rank hunters. The cat swallowed nervously. Looks like they ran away. Isn't it a common occurrence? No, they didn't run, they cleared the dungeon. 𝐬𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 looked up. The D-rank 𝗧𝗜𝐴's equipment was especially high class, so it's possible that a C-rank boss was defeated by him. The boss, giant arachnid 𝐻𝐵𝐴, shouldn't have been too much of a threat or organized parties, so it's strange that 8 people died. 𝐬𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 put the papers down. Don't beat around the bush, Sansa, and tell me. If there wasn't a really strange part, you wouldn't have consulted me and taken care of it yourself. The cat shuffled in his spot. Well, the other survivor was Midoriya Izuku from the first dungeon. Midoriya Izuku, you say? It seems like there are some suspicious parts. But it's unnecessary to worry. He looked the cat in the eyes. He's quirkless and his hunter evaluation says he has no magic. The doctors even checked if he had an awakening. Besides, awakenings are not even that common, so there's no point to check again. Checking once will do. Sansa sighs. I also want to think it's a coincidence, but I can't let this go because one of the dead men happened to be one of the Yakuza's Quirk trainers until a little while ago. 𝐬𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 sits up straight. You mean that Yakuza group, right? Sansa nodded. 𝐬𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 looks out at the sea of cops in the room. In that case. He picks up his hat. I can't just ignore this. Here we go, 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, your favorite. Inko sits the bowls down. Did something good happen today? You never ask me to make anything specific for dinner. Izuku leans back in his seat. Well, I'm not sure if it's good or bad yet. Really, what happened? She dug into her food. I was wondering if. Well, there was no way to beat around the bush. Could I test out of school? Inko chokes on her food. He rushes over to help, but Inko holds her hand up to stop him. I'm sorry, did you say you wanted to test out school? He nods. But why? You love learning. He sighs and puts a hand on her shoulder. I'm sorry I never told you, but school's not fun. I've been bullied heavily since I was 4A, and it's only a test. If I don't pass, I'll stay, but dash. Inko grabs his cheeks, forcing him to stop and look at her. Izuku Miroya, I always knew something was wrong, but you never told me, so I thought it had gotten better. She smiles, running her thumb over his cheek. I wish you told me sooner. I'll let you test out, but if you fail, I'm pulling you out and making you do online schooling instead. He pulls her into a tight hug. Oh. She gasps, not expecting it, but hugs back anyways. Thank you. Inko smiled, rubbing his back. Thank you for telling me. Izuku walked into school that Friday on a mission, heading towards the office to meet the teacher meant to be testing him today. But as he walked, he couldn't help but overhear the students talking thanks to his sense stat. Who's the hottie? No clue, but I want to know. Who the hell does he think he is, coming in here and getting all the girls? I don't know, man, but he's fing hot. Izuku rolls his eyes as he enters the office. He smiles, seeing the only person he liked in the school, typing away at his computer. The man was humming as he typed. I'm back, Mr. James. Izuku smiles, as bright as the sun, when he stopped in front of the main desk. I know that voice dash. His jaw dropped when he looked up. Midoriya. Is that you? He stands up, hands on the desk, staring in disbelief before pinching himself. Izuku scratches his cheek with a closed-eyed smile. My word, it really is you. He walks over, finding the boy he uses to patch up when the nurse refused was now taller than him. Have you been using drags? Miss Sung stares. What? His hands fly out, shaking to emphasize. I would never. Mr. James him a disbelieving look before he sighs. Sure, kid, you had me worried for a sec. It's still strange of you to have grown this much in the short time you've been away, even if you're at the age for growth spurts. Why, strange. So I hear you're testing out today. He walks them back to the desk. Yep, some things have come up, so I thought it was about time. Mr. James nods. I thought you would have done it sooner. Like, don't get me wrong, I like having you here, but you're a good kid and don't deserve any of the stuff that happens to you here. He pulled a seat out. Izuku huffed. That was an understatement. Thanks. So what am I meant to do now? Izuku took the offered seat. You just have to sign here and then over here. Once that's done, I'll take you to your exam room and you'll get your results by next week, so hopefully you won't need to come back. Sitting down, the overly tight uniform pulled tighter, restricting his movements, so if he didn't want to rip it, he had to be careful. Heck, he was lucky he could even button the shirt up because he couldn't do so with his jacket anymore. Signing the dotted line, James clapped. Right now that that's done, I'll show you to your room. Good luck. Standing, he resisted the urge to stretch because that would almost certainly result in buttons going flying. No. He smiled. Thank you, Mr. James. On his way home that day, had to stop at the store to buy some stuff for dinner. It's a good thing hunting pays well because now that I've gotten bigger, we're having to buy more food. He was in the meat section when it happened. You there? He looked up to see an employee pointing at him. He points to himself. Yes, you. She stalks over and grabs his arm. You look like you have good taste in drinks. She drags him into the alcohol section next to the meats. We're having a taste tester today. It's a popular Australian drink called 𝐶𝐮𝐬𝐬𝐶𝐿. It's a beer I think you would defiantly like. Izuku blinks at the drink in his hand. Two things went through his head at the time. When did that get there, and do I really look that old? He goes to tell the lady the truth, but looking into her hopeful eyes, he couldn't do it, so he 𝐒𝐮𝐬𝐬𝐸 it up and took a sip. It's actually not that bad. So what you think? Alarm, a harmful substance has been detected. Buff, 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫's effect is healing you. Is it because of the special ability that the system gave me? Even alcohol is purified. He sips some more. 3, 2, 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐴 has been completed. A reward the system gave me as soon as I woke up after the dungeon disaster. Alarm, you have completed all the necessary requirements of the secret quest, Courage of the Weak. Since a lot has happened since then, I just overlooked it. Thanks for the taste, but I'm not here for anything to drink. To think it gave me this as a reward. Quest reward, Courage of the Weak. Great spellcaster 𝐾𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫's blessing. The great 𝐾𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 has gifted a special spell to you. 𝐾𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫's blessing will ensure that you will always be strong and healthy during your lifetime. Grabbing the last of the stuff he needs, he pays and leaves. It's also thanks to this quest's rewards that the leg I lost was regenerated. Quest reward, temporary effects will rehabilitate. Any dismembered body parts are restored. Permanent effects, longevity, all diseases, poisons, and status effects are healed, and sleeping will explosively increase regeneration ability. An idea hit him. If I'm immune to all poisons. He ducks into an ally and pulled something from his inventory item, 𝗧𝗏𝐼𝐻's venom item, class, a type. Potion, a pouch that contains 𝗧𝗏𝐻's purified venom. Obtainable by defeating 𝗧𝗏𝐻. Unlikely drop rate. Drinking it will give you hardened skin but will weaken your strength. Effect, 𝗧𝗏𝐻's steel scales. Minus 20% physical damage taken, debuff, weaken muscles. Minus 35 strength. If status effects are automatically healed, won't this item's debuff be removed as well? He takes the string holding it closed off, don't think about it, and chugs it all. Is this how All Might feels? He feels his body weaken. A harmful substance has been detected in your body. 2. Cure poison has been completed. Item, 𝗧𝗏𝐻's venom's effect weaken muscles is fading. He fist pumped the air, just like I thought. Strength, 53 vitality, 30 agility, 53 intelligence, 30. Sense, 36 physical damage reduction, 20% activating walking into the fancy cat cafe. He didn't know what he was thinking to accept this meeting. Midoriya, you finally made it. 𝗀𝐿 waves him over. How did you get my number? As soon as he sits down, a cat jumps onto his lap. Sorry about the cats, I find them relaxing. But as for your question, I have some good connections. You want some coffee? He gestured to the menu. I'm fine. He pulls his hood down more. I didn't expect to meet you again. 𝗀𝐿 chuckles tiredly. Didn't I say I wanted to be friends? Izuku shook his head. Well, I didn't think you meant it. You left after you shared all the magic crystals with me after all. Izuku frowned. I killed people. 𝗀𝐿 nodded. Why didn't you tell anyone? 𝗀𝐿 sighed. They're the ones who tried to kill us first. Even if it's wrong, I can't be mad. You saved my life after all. 𝗀𝐮 sits back, leg crossed over the other in a perfect picture of confidence, but on the inside, he was terrified. This guy is a false ranker. A maniac that enjoys murdering and killing. Normally he's not a person I should ever become involved with. So, why did you request to meet me? Izuku couldn't resist anymore and started to slide the fluffy old cat in his lap. Cinder, what a lovely name. I'm planning to create a personal attack dash. Declined. What? But 𝗀𝐮's leg fell. Izuku glared at the arrogant boy. You want me to join your attack force, but I'm not here to play around with a rich kid. 𝗀𝐮 stood up, slamming his hands on the desk. Just 20 times, number 19 times please, just 19 times. Where dungeons? Yes. If you won't do it for friendship, I'll pay you your share to join me. The feline on his lap must have felt the aura coming off the two boys, since she leapt off Izuku's lap and hobbled off to sit with a younger kitten. You should know based on last time some hunters aren't good people, and yet you're going to create an attack force. He paused. Could it be? You want to become a guild MSTR? 𝗀𝐮 nodded. You catch on quick. As you know, to become a guild MSTR you must participate in at least 20 raids. I've been through one, but that still leaves 19 raids left. Izuku listened, not impressed by the sudden development. Thinking about it, 𝗀𝐮, you said you wanted to be a hero. So why create a guild? 𝗀𝐮 clenched his hands, eyes determined. It's true I want to be a hero, but my father wants to create a guild. Izuku sat back, eyes closed, as he thought, dungeons are dangerous. But proportional to that they contain mountains of treasures. Magic crystals or mana crystals are just a few. Monster corpses are used as material as well, so there's nothing useless in dungeons. Of course, major companies would want to get involved. So the hunters that work at the company complete the dungeon, and the company takes the rewards. He paused. You're planning on becoming self-sufficient. 𝗀𝐮 smirked. That's correct. My father is planning on employing an S-rank hunter and set him as the 𝗀𝐻 and leave me out. That was interesting. If I'm correct, there are 11 S-rank hunters within our country. If he plans on employing a hunter not registered in a guild, that only leaves Hunter Min Byongyu. But he's a retired hero. With a low rank and age with no experience, you aren't even in the running. How would you even convince your father? The person my father wants to hire is really hard to convince, if not impossible. So if you help me, I can defiantly get his approval. 𝗀𝐮 runs a hand through his hair. The fact that you're a false RA. I mean, the fact you hide your real abilities will be kept a secret forever by me. Izuku opened his eyes. But if you plan to hide your abilities and raid, don't you need an attack force? If Midoriya went hunting with random hunters, someone is bound to call him out. 𝗀𝐮 smirked, thinking about his plan. Midoriya's at least a B rank, maybe even higher than that. If I raid with random hunters, I'll lose my life, but if I go with him, I don't need to worry, and while I'm at it, I can learn to fight by watching him. So what do I get out of joining this? Izuku's eyes widened. A couple of days later, Izuku was out on his daily quest run. Why are you following me when I'm exercising? Izuku sighed, looking back at the blonde boy who stepped out from a side ally. You've changed. Bakugo stated, why? Izuku sped up a bit, which wasn't hard since he had slowed down once he noticed the boy. People change, Katsuki, especially after traumatic experiences. The blonde growls, bullshit. We were both in that hellhole and I never changed, but you did. You never used to call me by my name, you were a tiny little twig with no confidence, and now look at you. You even left school early. Izuku frowned, not liking being called out. Like I said, people change, both mentally and physically. Now I've got a question for you. Katsuki rolled his eyes. If you got 3 billion yen, what would you do? Katsuki sneered. What kind of crappy question is that? Explosions popped in his hands. Deposit it or move to a better house. Dumb butt. He wipes his hands on his shorts to get rid of the excess explosive liquid. Where the hell would you get 3 billion anyways? It's a bit unrealistic, isn't it? It's not that unrealistic. He didn't even realize he actually started running. Hey. Wait for me. He was too far ahead to hear the confused blonde, and even if he was able to hear him, he was already stuck in his head. A 3 billion yen building for doing 19 C-rank raids. He couldn't believe his eyes. So you're saying this is just a small investment as long as you can become a guild MSTR? Correct. What should I do? 3 billion? Normally there would be no reason to refuse, but a single word flashed in his mind, unique. I'm aware of it. I'm a special case among both magic and quirk users. Since nobody has heard of a power that can level up and grow stronger like mine. If I keep leveling up like this, it's possible that I could reach S rank, no, maybe something stronger than that. If that happens, 3 billion is nothing, but I have a condition. 𝐶𝐮𝐬𝐴's head tilted questioningly. And what would that be? You and me. I can't afford to be found out just yet. Us two and no one else goes. 𝗀𝐿 pales a little. You want to clear C rank dungeons by ourselves? Izuku nods confused. Yes, it's the only way to get stronger. But to enter a C rank gate you need at least 10 people. Izuku huffed. Just offer a reward to fill up the head count. But what if we get caught? If we're hurt and they're not? 𝗀𝐿 bit his lip, worried about what could happen. You don't need to worry about that, we'll be fine. Plus think about it, if we complete 19 raids perfectly with no injuries, won't it be helpful to convince your father? 𝗀𝐿 nods slowly, considering it. That makes sense. We'll do it your way then. Alarm, daily quest. Preparing to become strong has been completed. See, I accidentally overdid it because I was lost in thought. That day the news talked about a mumbling blue streak running around town. Looks like I lost Katsuki. Daily directions, daily quest. Get ready to become powerful. Goal: incomplete push-ups 100, 100 incomplete curl-ups 100 out of 100 incomplete curl-ups 100 out of 100 incomplete squats 100 to 100 incomplete running 11/10 km. Warning: failing to complete this daily quest will bring a punishment associated with this quest. Why is it recording even when I completed the goal? I'm quite a distance away from home. So should I fill it up as much as possible on the way back or wait for Katsuki to catch up? Later, incomplete push-ups 200 for 100 incomplete curl-ups 200 for 100 incomplete curl-ups 200 for 100 incomplete squats 200 for 100 incomplete running 11/10 km. It's not rising beyond 200 and Katsuki's still not here. Maybe he went home already. Izuku started to run off. Better be on my way then. He never noticed the winded blonde finally catch up as he dissolved into a blue streak. Deku. As Izuku got close to the junk beach near his house, he overheard a familiar voice arguing over a phone. I know you want 𝐒𝐿𝐴 to be my successor, but I need to find that boy. Despite being a good distance away, he could hear the annoyance in the other person's voice even if he couldn't understand them. Izuku stopped at the rail that stopped people from falling down and looked. Hidden by an old rusty fridge, the skinny skeleton of the man known as All Might stood. I don't care if 𝐒𝐿𝐴 is already in 𝐿𝐴. This boy risked his life to get those heroes out of that dungeon. Well, that was unexpected. Was he talking about him? Jumping over the rail, cans and wrappers crunched under his feet as he lands, startling the man. Hello, sir. I'm Izuku Midoriya. I'm sorry but couldn't help but overhear you talking. Izuku's cheeks flush, embarrassed to have done something so rude. It's him. All Might stares. Sorry Mirai, I got to go. It's been a while, my boy. How have you been since I seen you last? Izuku looks away from the man's face. I've been just fine, nothing very interesting has happened. Lying to All Might felt like kicking a puppy. I've been trying to find you, young man, but it seems the reason it's taken so long is that you've changed quite a bit. Yeah, I'm surprised as well, but both my parents were quite tall in their prime. All Might stares at the 6-foot man in front of him. Sure, my name's Toshinori Yagi. He puts his hand out to shake. Well then, it's nice to formally meet you, Toshinori. So why were you looking for me? Izuku smiles. Right, well. A little while later Izuku turns and leaves with one more secret and a new number in his phone. I was not expecting things to go like that when I left for my run. He starts to jog. If it had been me from a month ago I might have accepted, but complete push-ups 200/100 complete curl-ups 200/100 complete curl-ups 200/100 complete squats 200/100 complete running 18/10 km. I've got my own power now. He looked back to see the blonde man in the distance, and I've still got a lot to learn. Deep underground, send me the information of the 2 survivors. Golden eyes stared at his phone in annoyance. Kai. What are you doing up at this hour? Kai hanged up. Chronostasis, tell me, how hard would it be to track someone down? It would depend on who it is, but in most cases it's not hard. Kai frowned under his mask. Some beasts killed a man I once respected, and if I don't at least get a glimpse of them, I won't be satisfied. Kai Chisaki, overhaul leader of the Yakuza. That man may have let himself go for a while, but he was once one of the best trainers we had. How could a D rank and an E rank survive and not him? He would never put his life on the line for me, let alone others. It's why I cut him out. So they must have set a trap and killed him. I'm gonna have to take a trip to Mustafa for a while. He picks some papers up off his desk. Kai, if you leave so suddenly, all your work with Eri would be a waste. He hums. So when can I leave then? You can go in 2 weeks, all the delicate work would be complete by then. 2 weeks. Good enough, clear my schedule after that. Chronostasis nods, is that all? Kai takes a glove off, holding the paper over the bin. I just hope those BSs are still alive in 2 weeks. He overhauled the papers into dust. D rank Shinso Hitoshi, E rank Midoriya Izuku. Izuku stood in front of Endeavor Tower. His dark jeans and jacket probably made him look like a robber or something sketchy. Probably more like a crazy murderer since he was carrying his dagger. He looks around. No one was near the tower or entering it. That's good, I guess. Complete push-ups 200/100, complete curl-ups 200/100, complete curl-ups 200/100, complete squats 200/100, complete running 20 km. After completing the goals twofold, the daily quest turned into a hidden quest. He held a red key in his other hand. Item, Demon Castle's key item class. S-type, key, a key that allows you to enter Dungeon Demon's Castle. Can only be used in Endeavor Tower. I expected to get a better reward than normal, but to think I would get an S-class item. Are hidden quests only given when the daily quests are done in excess? This is a good chance. Since I picked the blessed random box, and not the cursed random box. Quest rewards, choose your reward. You may choose one of the rewards below. Reward hashtag status recovery, reward hashtag stat point +3, reward hashtag blessed random box. Select reward hashtag cursed random box. Select will you accept your rewards. Accept refuse. It makes sense that the gate to hell is at the Fire Heroes Agency, his quirks even called Hellfire. Izuku reaches forward, and red electricity sparks up. Soon the entry of the tower was showered in red light. And with a final spark the portal opens. Izuku walks through, tightening his hold on the dagger. He wasn't sure what would be waiting for him on the other side after all. Walking inside, he looked around once his eyes adjusted to the light inside the gate. The city was destroyed, and the tower was ablaze, looking like a golden sunset. If a key's rarity is proportional to the dungeon's difficulty. This dungeon is S rank, and my chance of survival just dropped to 0. Izuku grips the handle tighter. Izuku, remembering his past mistakes, turns and saw the portal was closed like the first dungeon. I have the Hearthstone that I didn't use in the first dungeon. So if things get too dangerous, I'll leave. Izuku licks his dry lips and marches forwards as the fires burn around him. I did clear a C-rank dungeon. I still don't know my own strength. I've got to continue clearing C-rank gates with 𝗀𝐿. I must find out how strong I am as he gets closer to the tower in front of him. 3 sets of crimson eyes glow against a giant mass of black. If I give up because I'm scared, I can't become stronger. The fire obscures what the monster was until it steps forward, crushing the floor beneath its paw. Izuku looks upwards at the 3-headed beast in front of him. I'll become much stronger. Hell's gatekeeper Cerberus, the 3-headed hellhound, was baring its fangs and looking absolutely sad. Each head has different characteristics. The middle one had 2 thick horns on the sides of its head. The left one had a mask covering its nose to its head, and the right had 2 long horns with a fiery mane, protecting its neck, each one of them glaring at the man in front of it. I can't lose my life in a place like this. Izuku's eyes harden, turning blue. And level up even more. Jeju Island, a blue portal in the middle of the island in the heart of a mountain, sparks and crackles as the time limit is hit and the gate breaks. A child-sized ant comes out of the portal before going back inside. It won't be long till the world learns of its mistake. Back at the gates of hell, all the greatest heroes are S-rank, and because of that I know I don't compare to the dangers of an S-rank monster at my current level, toughness that can't be penetrated. The strength that will result in instant death. Izuku widens his stance as the hound lunges for Izuku. Shooting forward, he slices his blade along the underside of the hound's right arm, making blood flood out of the fresh wound. So I wondered if my attacks would even work on those monsters on another level. Izuku quickly went to work, slicing at any free skin he could find, while ignoring the alarm that shows up on the corner of his eyesight. Alarm's title, 𝐻𝗧𝗟 buff effect, is activating. It was simple curiosity. Izuku slides backward. Looking out from his hood, he tries to find the hound's weak spots. A skill activates as he runs in again. Alarmed skill, sprint, was activated. Movement speed will increase by 30%. Mana will be consumed every minute. The beast couldn't keep with Izuku as he disappeared into a blur of blue and black. All three heads growled in annoyance as Izuku attacks its back, neck, and head. Dagger cutting deep into the beast each time he attacks. Izuku lands on the floor before staring at the beast. His newest skill activates. Alarm skill, Bloodlust, was activated. Izuku watches for the beast to freeze in fear, but instead, it let out an enraged roar. Alarm, the enum's resistance was too high. The effect was cancelled. It's not working. The hound turns to face Izuku, all 6 crimson eyes staring right at him, its shadow cast over him. It's a good matchup looking at my skills, but my attacks aren't having an effect. Izuku's mind races looking for answers. To think that the difference is this big even with the title's buff. Title, 𝐻𝗧𝗟. A title was given to those proficient in hunting wolves. Your stats will increase by 40% when facing a beast-type monster. There's no doubt anymore, this dungeon is definitely S rank. Izuku watches as the beast move towards him. Alarm, Hell's Gatekeeper Cerberus is using skill, Wrath. Alarm, Wrath will last for 3 minutes. Cerberus's stats will be doubled. A red aura surrounds Cerberus as it charges for Izuku. The system tells me the gap between my enemies and me. Izuku jumps forward and slammed his dagger into the middle one's eye. Izuku looked down at the beast, confused, expecting it to have at least reacted. Alarm, Cerberus did not feel any pain. The left head rushes forward with its jaws came closed on his arm in seconds. The beast slams him away, making him fly backward into a wall. The entire wall came down, leaving rubble surrounding Izuku's body. HP 1290/3602. Izuku could feel a gaping hole going through his arm where the hound's fangs sunk through. He was bleeding extensively. HP 726/3602. The greenie grits his teeth while looking at the hole in his shoulder before seeing his HP drop. HP 411/3602. Continuous warning. As I bleed out, Izuku growls to himself. A blue screen popped up yet again. Alarm, as your health is below 30%, skill, Perseverance, will activate. Damage taken will be reduced by 50%, even in dire situations. It will help as much as possible to make sure I don't die. Because it would be problematic for me to die. Izuku laughs to himself while slightly set off at the hellhound and himself. I can do it. Izuku stares at the beast before him. If I became someone's avatar due to the quirk, all I can do is to exceed that person's expectations. One of Cerberus's heads comes down for another bite, one that would end it all. Use the quirk, then devour it. Reward #condition healing, except. Golden light explodes from Izuku's body. The beast was right on top of him. Izuku's hands were gripping the fangs of the left Cerberus as the mouth was wide open. Izuku growls back at the hound as all the while he pushed the beast's head back in one quick movement. Izuku's arms spread out by his side as he stood, and the beast's head spun around. The sounds of a neck snapping multiple times ring out. Izuku jumped off the rocks, attacking the middle hound. His dagger sliced through its eyes before finally coming down on the other one, sending his dagger through its skull. Die! Izuku screams as the beast collapses under him. Alarm, you have slain Hell's Gatekeeper Cerberus. Izuku roughly lands on the rocky ground, having jumped off at the last second. Alarm, you leveled up. You leveled up. You leveled up. You leveled up. Izuku stares at the gate behind the dead hellhound. Thank you for making me realize what my level. I can't go through that gate yet, I'll only die. Izuku looks over the fancy pattern on the silver gate. I return once I've become stronger. Izuku activates the Hearthstone. Item, Warden's Necklace. Item class, a type, necklace, agility +20, sense +20. Item, Castle door key item class. A type. Key, a key that can open the demon castle's door. Obtained by killing the gatekeeper. Item. Cerberus Fang item class. None type. Material, a fang that can be obtained by slaying Cerberus. Across Japan, a scruffy, tired-looking man held his head down, holding a bag. A man in a suit sits down across from him. Here's 20 billion. The man, filled with grief, said, placing the bag on the table. I heard that everything that happens in a dungeon stays in the dungeon. I believe you know what I'm implying. The man hunches over. I beg you, kill those beasts. The man in the suit was smirking. In addition to this, I want 10 billion to take care of the other hunters. The man across the table smiles as he looked over the bag full of money. Is that possible for you? The man stares at the floor. Why, yes, I can do that. The man in the suit gestures to himself. You want to know why I do this despite being a B rank? He grins. For me, it's much more fun to kill people than monsters. The hitman stood up, grabbing the bag. A couple of months have passed since the incident, and 𝐻𝗳𝗏 finds himself walking towards a D-rank dungeon despite losing an arm and most of his strength. He was still a hero and now a hunter, even if he wasn't as powerful as he once was. The only good thing that came from that dungeon is that I reawakened, and now I'm a magician-type magic user who can wield fire. Over the past months, it was found that the reawakened usually completely changed their quirk for a stronger power. Some kept their quirks or aspects from them with their reawakened power. Using these powers, they sorted people into different classes such as tank, magician, and swordsman. He spots a man next to him. Excuse me, you. The man looks over surprised. Could you be Midoriya Izuku? 𝐻𝗳𝗏. Izuku looks up at the man. I didn't recognize you at all. You've changed so much over the months. Peep, I sure got you, good kid. Izuku smiles. I guess it did. You're looking better, sir. 𝐻𝗳𝗏 scratched the back of his neck, but his eyes never left Izuku's leg. I'm getting better slowly, but how? He points down. Did a torn leg. Izuku cuts him off. It was back to normal when I came back to my senses. Great spellcaster 𝐾𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫's blessing. Temporary effect will to rehabilitate. Any dismembered body parts are restored. What? That's great. It's not good if a young man like you becomes disabled. He pats Izuku's shoulder. Izuku's sweat drops thinking back on how this same man was gonna make him a sacrifice to get out alive. What a relief. Even though I heard rumors that you were safe, I can't believe it even after seeing you with my own eyes. The two stop just standing there and start walking together. Are you also going to the dungeon because of the guild orders? Izuku asks. That's right. You as well. Guilds were something new made by the government to keep hunters in line. They were the hunters' very own HPS. With the new rise in dungeons, hunters and people's quirks reawakening to produce new powers, guilds appeared. They work like how an agency would, organizing hunters and making sure all gates are closed, while high-ranking hunters are fought over. The lower ranks are pushed away only to be called upon to close low-rank gates. Everyone here already. What a day this is. Most the members of that day are here. Standing across from him was Bakugo, Kamui Woods, and Backdraft, Deku. Bakugo looked at him in shock. Katsuki. His eyes drifted to the other two heroes. They both ran away, leaving Death, Katsuki, and I to die. Deku, what the F are you doing here? Izuku smiles at the familiar anger he hadn't seen since he left school. Surprise. The blonde shakes in anger. Surprise. Surprise. Deku, you quirkless idiot, what are you doing planning to go into a gate? Izuku was interrupted before he could even reply. What a joyful atmosphere. Is somebody filming a drama here? Three men dressed in orange with deranged looks on their faces jump out of a van, handcuffs securely on their wrists and ankles. Or do hunters fight in the streets now? Shut up, you fools. A purple-haired man gets out after them. This isn't a picnic. He scolded with a strict look. Take care of us today. The lead criminal winks in their direction. What is this? 𝐻𝗳𝗏 asks. Sorry for being late. A short lady in a suit and round glasses apologizes. You two are the summoned hunters 𝐻𝗳𝗏 and Midoriya Izuku. We'll go through the procedure first. Death puts his hand up. Wait, what's going on here? Oh, those people. They are rehabilitators that will join the raid with you hunters. 𝐻𝗳𝗓𝗏 stomped up to her, not pleased with the turn of events. Rehabilitators. You're telling us to raid with villains. Even if they are villains they're willing to hunt, and it's new, but villains can serve time in dungeons to reduce their sentence. She steps back scared. My God. Death dragged his hand down his face. Izuku watched in silence. Please understand, not many people have signed up to be hunters in this area, so we have to resort to such measures. She gestured to the man with purple hair. Also, the monitoring department hunter 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 will participate in this raid, so don't worry. The warm midday air felt cold. Approximately 9 C-rank hunters and 2 average B-rank hunters. Something feels wrong. Katsuki, please drop out of this raid. Izuku stared at the new bunch of 4 men. You drop the F out. Bakugo spat. I'm going in. The blonde growled at his decision. With that, the group headed towards the shimmering blue gate. Are they really telling us to go raiding with these guys? I see. I guess we're all going together then. This is probably fate as well, to the dungeon. Click. Phew, that's better. The now freed prisoner stretches. Are you allowed to treat us like slaves? Click. Shut it. The purple-haired man replied, putting the key back in his suit pocket, and walked over to 𝐻𝗳𝗓𝗏. I'm 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 from the monitoring department. You heard the explanation. I'll be keeping a close eye on them, so don't worry too much. Who will lead the raid today? With how tired the man looked, he would have said he was a 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 clone if he didn't have droopy spiked hair. I'll do it. Death says. Then I'll leave it to you. Death turned to him. Are you okay with me being a leader? Surprised he was being asked, he quickly agreed. Of course. Death bowed. Thank you for giving me another chance. Izuku was at a loss for words. 𝐻𝗳𝗓𝗏𝗏. If it was my fault 11 people died, then it was thanks to you 6 people survived. It was my responsibility as a hero to protect everyone, but I was unable to, so when I bow, I'm thanking you in place of all heroes. Thank you, Midoriya. Izuku. Stand up straight. 𝐻𝗳𝗓𝗏𝗏. Death turned to the other heroes. You have no complaints, right? Even if I lead this raid. Kamui looked away. Do whatever you like. Goblins leaped out at them. Snap. A WHP struck it down. Do they want to get beaten up? One villain said, how bland. Another one chopped them up. Try coming at us in packs. The main villain just punched through them, turning them to paste. I can't see who's the monster and who's the human. Death muttered KK. A goblin jumped out from behind him. His hand sparked a light, incinerating the monster. 2 more charged him from the side, only to meet the same fate. 𝐻𝗳𝗓𝗏𝗏. I don't think he's a normal C rank. Kamui muttered. Kamui, is it really okay if a hero is weak like that? Death called him out. It seems you like to act as the leader. Kamui's branches whipped out, striking several goblins. Let's be positive. More fire. Most of the survivors from that incident are now reunited. Death looked over to Izuku, cleaning off his dagger. It seems you've improved a lot. Where did you get such a good dagger? Izuku chuckled. Is that so? Bakugo walked past him, bumping his shoulder. At least I don't need to protect your butt anymore. I said it as a joke, but it looks like he's changed a lot. Not only his appearance but his aura too. Is this really that quirkless boy for before? He used to have a hopeless feeling to him, but now he has a relaxed sense to him. He's truly become a man. He looked over to Bakugo. On the other hand, Bakugo Katsuki. Despite hiding it well, he seems afraid. He's a natural fighter with good instincts, but his trauma must be deep. It's a good thing he seems to be getting better. Down the path it split 3 ways. Darn, the path branches into 3. A villain huffed. Since the difficulty is relatively low, how about we split up? Kong suggests, although the danger may increase, the clear time will significantly decrease. Let's split up. Death agrees. I'll bring the criminals to the right path, so if you perchance find the boss room, you can come to tell us quickly. Izuku's eyes turned blue, allowing him to see the strong magic energy wafting out of the left cave. 𝐻𝗳𝗓𝗏𝗏, let's go to the left path. He pointed. Sure. Kong glared at him and he glared back. Bakugo, 𝐻𝗳𝗓𝗏𝗏, and Izuku went down the left. Kamui Woods and Backdraft went down the middle, and the villains and the suited man went down the right. The boss is at the end of this path. Since goblins don't give me much experience, I'll have to at least kill the boss to get some more. But more than that, that guy from before. He's worrying me. 𝐂𝐮𝐬𝐵 stood at the entrance of a room watching the villains massacre the goblins like child's play. Did you take care of them all? He asked, hands in his pockets. This is a piece of cake. They're weak, mere goblins don't stand a chance against me. Goblins usually have lower strength and health than a grown man, and their size and intelligence are those of a child's, but they are annoying foes who use sneak attacks and swarm their targets. Of course, if you give a human child a weapon, they will be just as annoying. Because even a child can kill a person with a weapon. The suited man loomed over the green-skinned corpses. In reality, countless child soldiers are armed and attack people all over the earth. There's no difference between humans and monsters. They're both insects. The three men gathered around the purple-haired one. Can you guys kill children? What boring question are you asking us? The redhead villain huffed. That's right. It's a boring question. He smiled. You will meet 100 children in this dungeon. From now on. One of the villains got right up in his face. What are you saying? Why are there children in a dungeon? Kong looked down on the man in front of him. The children are starved, so they will eat all your flesh. Skin and bone showing, kids with their jaws open and saliva dripping down their chins. Can you kill those things? Of course we can kill them. The main villain grinned. That's right. The man's voice was playful. The answer is that you have to kill anyone to live. I'll have to report it like this to the Hunters Guild. You guys here met 100 goblins. His face darkened and grin grew. BLD splattered everywhere as another goblin was beheaded. If a goblin is this easy, it's doable. 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 shakes the BLD off his branches. It would be good if the raid ended with nothing major happening. Backdraft held a sword. Water covered the blade, making it sharper. I don't think anything will happen. If an E-ranker came, it means the dungeon is also weak. That's what they are saying. Although it wasn't strictly correct. A smile with too many teeth and red eyes burn in the back of the hero's mind. I've decided. After this raid, I'll also bow to Midoriya and apologize. Don't you also feel guilty? We both ran away. We're meant to heroes, but we left him for dead and didn't try to stop Death Arms from killing him. He looked over to the water hero. Even if he doesn't forgive me, I will apologize. Once the hero calms down from his rant, he starts walking forward. We have no time, let's go. The rescue hero sighs and nods, flowing behind his friend. Maybe the others already finished up and left. He said a little while later as they find a new in the side of their cave. The heroes froze. On the ground lay two dead villains, and on the other side to them stood a man holding another by his neck up in the air. The man looked over, eyes bored. Why are you two appearing from there? He grabbed a knife from the holster on his lower back, so the pathways were connected, and sliced the villain in his grasp's head off. That means the way to the boss room is to the left. Now I don't have to roam around aimlessly. He dropped the body. My schedules changed a little. Something was wrong. Extreme killing intent. Izuku ran towards the tunnel in trance. Death, Katsuki, let's go back. The other two were already rushing behind him as they made it out and went into the middle tunnel. Rushing past the dead goblins, he quickly finds the little entrance out of the corner of his eye. Striking up, he grabbed a knife-wielding hand before it could strike Bakugo in the face. Oh, pretty fast, The supervisor said, shocked. What are you doing? He tightened his grip. He blocked my ambush. Ripped his hand free and jumped back. What kind of strength? You actually stopped that? Your senses are pretty sharp. Even if my orders were not to get into fights with others, it looked like that B-rank hero wannabe was going to be a nuisance, so I tried to get rid of him first, but I guess I have to change the plan. Bakugo's hands sparked to life. Don't tell me you're another villain. The tired man glared. I'm gonna kill you all. Behind him in his shadow was several bodies, just like them. Izuku's eyes drifted to the side, and there sat in a puddle of his own BLD was 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫. 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫. The man let out a breath. Bakugo rushed over, bandages in hand. Thank you. BLD dripped from his, a cut in his mask. Lost. I'm sorry. Izuku's teeth grit as grief flooded him. Stop, save your strength. That grief turned to anger, so that I can hate you. I didn't want to apologize like this. I wanted to apologize with my head down. Put my head down now. I'm afraid I'd die. He choked up. Midoriya, I'm sorry. Really sorry. His head fell down going limp. Izuku's shoulders sagged. Why did you do that to 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫? Dunno. Could have been monsters. One day a gate opened and monsters overran the hunters. It's like a natural catastrophe. He pointed his knife at the dead. I thought of a good story just now. It used to be a massacre story with goblins, but I guess I should change it up a little. The criminals broke free and tried to escape. After killing all of you, they tried to attack me who was busy fighting the boss. But it was too much for them to kill 𝐴, and therefore I was the only one who survived the raid. He pointed the blade at him. How about it? The people outside would believe this story, right? You piece of SHT, 𝐻𝗳𝗏𝗡 stopped him. No, he's not someone you can beat. I will do it. He's a B rank. There's no way he would be hit by a C rank like me. Plus he's an assassin type. I can't beat him at speed. He reached down grabbing Backdraft's sword. I'm borrowing this for a while Backdraft, he said in a way to appease the dead. But he probably has a weak defense. Who knows what will happen if I get one good hit in? He walked towards the assassin. It's been a while since I fought a villain. 𝐴 here too. 𝐴, stay back. The blonde for once followed orders. Kong struck and blades clashed. It's normal for a magician to be at a disadvantage against an assassin. It might have been a good idea to bring out a weapon, but in the end, you're just a magician. If your physical level couldn't even reach D rank, would holding a weapon even make a difference? Death shifted his feet and this time the blades clashed. Death slipped past, cutting the assassin in half. It certainly does. The assassin phased into existence a little ways away from him. Your movements are good. It was only for a moment but he caught up with him. Izuku analyzed the fight. If I can go just a little faster. 𝐻𝗳𝗏𝗡 missed again. Fast and precise, pretty cool. It really was a good idea to abandon magic and hold a weapon. But that's just it. He reappeared walking past 𝐻𝗳𝗏𝗡 as the shoulder of the missing arm gushed out. Thinking he had a moment free he rushed 𝐴. I'll eliminate you as fast as I can. His hair moved in the wind as a sword cleaved down from behind. How dare you to show your back to a hero? You look down on me too much. Bringing his blade up he turned to watch as the sword and dagger met. The voice of the assassin was filled with annoyance. Looks like you're not just a regular hero. He pushed down with all his strength breaking the ground, but no one was there. Unfortunately there are always limits to one's strength. Kong sped up. Did you honestly think that a magician can follow an assassin's speed? Such naivety. Death was hit by a barrage of attacks he had no hope of countering. He fell to his knees covered in blood and cuts. 𝐴 went to help but was stopped by the hero holding his hand out. If it was someone else then you might have won, but my rank itself is superior to yours. A magician probably can't even see my movements. Kong walked towards the downed hero with a sadistic grin. It seems like you finally realized it's all futile. He raised his blade. I'll kill you painlessly in return. Golden flames burst cup consuming the assassin in a golden tornado. Did it work? Back of his open suit on flames, he stood next to the hero, a magician like you acting like a swordsman to hide his magic skills. To unleash your magical power as soon as a sword is hurtling towards you. Not a bad plan, hero. Is this it? I only just started to become a better hero. Die. Izuku stood between the two-man dagger out having deflected the assassin's killing blow. You again, who are you? What's your rank? He said getting angry. Izuku Midoriya. The man jumped back. An E rank. That can't be. Midoriya, how did you? 𝐻𝗳𝗏𝗡𝗡 asked. If you were a power type, then unleashing that kind of strength would have been possible for an E rank. However, seeing your reaction speed just now, you're not normal. You did block 2 of my attacks after all. Then, are you an assassin type? No, that's not it either. Purple and blue eyes stared into each other. You've been hiding your strength, haven't you? 𝐴 and 𝐻𝗳𝗏𝗡𝗡 stood side by side in shock. A fake ranker. No, it looks like you've known them for quite some time, so that can't be it. There's no way a fake ranker would let anyone who saw their real power live. Then there's only one answer. He pointed his blade at Izuku. You've been reawakened. The 2 observers gasped. Deku didn't even have a quirk. How could he reawaken? By their reactions, you've been reawakened recently, huh? Thinking about it, recently my boss did go to see someone because he thought he was reawakened. Anyways, it seems like you have little experience in killing. The man's anger turned into joy, in that case. Let me teach you a lesson as your superior. The burnt ends of his suit jacket fluttered as he walked, pulling out his seconded dagger. Tell me, why do you do this? Izuku questioned, unmoving. You mean killing the prisoners? Izuku's eyes glowed brighter, face straight. I mean everything. The man opposite to him smiled so big it made his eyes squint. Oh, that's a pretty dim and scary face you got there. Lighten up, it's not like I'm doing this for fun. The memory of the ragtag man who paid him resurfaced. One of the prisoners you are responsible for traumatized my daughter. Because of that, she hung herself, and her mother is still in the hospital from shock. Thinking about how that animal will freely roam the streets after a couple of years, it doesn't let me sleep at night. I understand. Here's 20 billion. I can't just refuse a father whose daughter was manhandled by these criminals. I tried to refuse by raising the price, but he accepted it right away. Although things have become like this, I don't want to hurt you guys. If you promise to not speak of today's incident, I will let you all go. Dunno why, but I don't believe anything you say with that kind of face. Besides, there's no reason to believe someone who was creating fake stories about how I died just moments ago. Everyone stood still, waiting to see what would happen next. Kong moved first. Daggers clashed, setting off sparks. Heh, it doesn't matter if you believe me or not. It's just pitiful that you will all die like insects. He kept one dagger behind his back. Then you're demon pitiful as well. What? Izuku's eyes changed from ice blue to electric blue. Because you will die soon. He brought his seconded dagger down. I don't know how many ranks you rose since E rank, but it won't be as easy as you think. Izuku blocked the hit before retaliating. Slow came from his side. You're pretty fast. Mind staying still for me. The two clashed. That's not the Deku I knew. How can they move like this? Hey, 3 billion yen is too little for this job now. I never expected to meet a hunter at this level here. Our speed's the same. They both fought. I need to catch him off guard, Izuku thought as they bounce off the walls of the cave, trying to get an advantage. Izuku's footing slipped on BLD, making him slide, and Kong it as an opportunity to attack. There. Look out. Izuku felt every slice and cut that was inflicted on him as he crosses his arms to protect his vitals. Izuku stopped sliding once the hits stopped pushing him. You're pretty durable. Kong frowned slightly, seeing Izuku still standing. Sorry, but can you lower your killing intent, please? Izuku had a hand on his thigh as he was staring at the floor. His other hand hung down, his grip loose on his dagger. An emergency quest has been activated. It's sensitive to killing intent. Izuku lifts his head as Kong saw a darker blue burn from the boy's eyes. It activated on its own again. Quest directions: emergency quest. Extermination. There are players who have killing intent towards you in close proximity. Slay them and ensure your safety. If this quest is not completed, your heart will stop. Number of players to kill: 1. Number of players killed: 0. Izuku turns the blade in his hand. One hand guarded his face, the other wielded the dagger as his body hunched. I'm coming. The air changed around them, and Kang's deranged grin fell from his face. I'm holding the advantage. What the hell is he thinking? For once I think I like a task the system gave me. It's just another reason to kill you. Izuku and Kong lunged forwards. Using speed alone, the sound of blades clashing together rang out around the caves. A close-ranged damage dealer primed in assassination. Kong enjoyed the rush of the fight. Aren't I just your worst nightmare? You know I like learning, and so far you've only thing you taught. Izuku frowned as he strikes again. The fact that talkative guys in battle are generally useless. Skill: sprint activated. Movement speed will increase by 30%. Mana will be consumed every minute. With a burst of speed, Izuku blurred from sight. Kong crossed his blades in a defensive X. He became faster. Arms ripped to his sides from a powerful blow broke his defense. A small cut ran along the assassin's cheek. Effect: bleed has activated. Veins bulged around the cut. BLD leaked from his eyes. His teeth grit as the taste of iron filled his mouth. Poison. The whites of his eyes filled with I see, it's your dagger. Looks like it can apply some interesting effects. A burst of magic came from his body. The enemy's resistance was too high. The effect was cancelled. Not bad, Izuku states. The effect won't last since he's such a strong opponent. Allow me to show you something fun as well. Kong seemed to vanish right before his eyes, melting away like he was never there. Izuku quickly went on guard, listening and watching for the man to make a move. His presence, it's gone. He pulls his blade up, protecting his left side as the daggers meet once again. You actually blocked the attack despite me hiding my presence. Your sense is pretty great. The assassin laughs freely. Your sense is pretty great. The assassin laughs more. Skill, stealth. I erase my shape, smell, sound, and even aura. That being said, no one else knows that I have this skill because no one has ever survived after seeing my stealth skill. A blade rips through Izuku's heel, making him kneel. Your tendons are severed. Kong reappeared in front of Izuku, his red eyes turned black. It would heal quickly if you were directly healed, but no one here has a healing quirk. Death's arms twitched as he watched on helpless. If it keeps going like this, Midoriya will run out of stamina first. I can't even ask for outside help. Kong disappears again, dagger pointed at Izuku. Can you even withstand my attacks with that frail body of yours? You won't be able to reach the speeds you used to have at least. BLD soaked his breathes. How many minutes until your wounds heal? Your leg. You. Izuku was still kneeling, watching him from the corner of his eye. Talk too much. Status recovery. Izuku's body light up, surrounded with golden light. The two onlookers gasped in surprise at the sight as his wounds stitched themselves back together, only leaving tears in his clothing. He healed instantly. Is he not an assassin type but instead an offensive type with healing spells? Is that even possible? Relying on this alone definitely has its limitations. I gotta think of other solutions as well. He stood up as Kong dispersed again. Is it a trick? He watched from the shadows? Or perhaps fake confidence? Does he have a quirk and reawaken power? How many times can he use it? I can't tell. Kong moves, he's dangerous. Izuku stared at the floor, eyes empty as he felt his heart close. Again, one of my emotions died. Izuku's voice was empty. Even anger itself was a waste on the likes of you. Turning his head to the side, he slashes up, giving Kang's hair a trim, barely missing his face. He saw through my stealth again. The two circled each other. There's no hesitation when you aim for my neck. He stops, a realization hits him. I see. I finally know the true difference between you and them. He grins, hair covering one eye. You've killed before, huh? It was a statement, not a question. Ha, we're from the same species after all. Death stared at the young man who saved him. I see. The reason he changed, he was forced to make so many hard decisions in such a short amount of time. It appears his looks weren't the only thing to change about him. Awakening. Such an unexpected power changed society. New exclusive rules for hunters were created. There's no need to be shackled by laws or morals. The words of the strong become the law. The assassin stands tall and imposing for all to see, and therefore I'm going to unleash my full power. Faster than before and invisible to the eye, Kong attacked from all directions with no end in sight. Izuku stood still in the tornado of blades, only moving his arm to block every single strike. I think I know how he saw through my stealth might hide my presence, but when I attack with high BLD lust, my presence is exposed for a fraction of a second. He's waiting for that moment. He goes for a frontal assault. Even then there's no way he'd know where I'd exactly attack. I need to break his flow. Skill, BLD lust was activated. Ice blue eyes look him dead in the eyes. His feet splash into murky black water, trapping him in place. What is it? He looks up in the shadows surrounding him, and massive misty blue eyes starred back. What is this? The darkness that covers my eyes. That his shadow. Pain erupts from his chest as Izuku stands where the eyes once were, dagger lazily plunged into Kang's chest. You what? His only reply was an empty face. He who fights with monsters should look to it that he himself does not become a monster. And if you gaze long into an abyss, the abyss also gazes into you. This phrase entered Kang's mind as we gazed into those cold blue eyes. Hunters are those who witness countless deaths as well as take lives themselves. Because usually it's a life or death situation, They not only fight against monsters but themselves as well. We are already perfect killing machines. The same goes for you. You wouldn't lump hunters and ordinary humans into the same group, would you? So, Kong lied against the cave wall. A blood puddle quickly grew under him. I'll die because I lost. It's only natural. Let me ask you just one question. What are you? An assassin class with healing magic. And even debuff abilities. I've never heard of anything like it. Izuku looked down on the dying man. I'm not sure either. A babble mouth may be useless, but having a lot of secrets will be your demise. His muscles locked up in pain. Cook. Effect. Paralysis was activated. Effect. Bleed was activated. You won't be able to hide your skills anymore since you killed me. A teardrop of blood slowly rolled down his cheek, leaving a red stake in its path. Izuku was silent. Let's say I'm a hunter that grows stronger from each fight. How strong do you think I can get? Huh. He had a small confused smirk on his face as he took raged breaths. Your shadow is connected to the darkness. You will become as strong as your shadow's depth in the dark. Kong fell silent and his chest stilled. Quest complete. You have completed emergency quest. Kill the enemies. Quest rewards. Select rewards. You may choose from the rewards below. Reward #stat points +5. Will you accept your rewards? Accept refuse. I certainly got stronger than before. He pulled his hood up over his head, but for some reason, I feel like something within me is lost every time I get stronger. Deku, what the hell did you do? What happened to you? For once Katsuki didn't yell, he whispered. Izuku's feet splash in a puddle of red as he walked towards the man who had just passed. I made a hard choice a while back. He pulled the bloody dagger out of his chest, and I will walk down the path it set out for me if you must know. Bakugo was gonna retort back, but Death Arms shook his head. Thank you for saving us again. We would have died without you. Izuku looked at the rest of the bodies around him. Yous two should leave. The gate will shut soon. Wait, but for the gate to close we would have to— Oh, don't tell me you're gonna kill the boss solo. Death shook his head. I've seen your skill, so I know I can't stop you. Death lead Bakugo down the path to the exit. Reaching in, he pulled something out of his pocket. Rune. Stealth type. Rune. A skill can be obtained by breaking the rune. I obtained this when I pulled the dagger out on Kong. His stealth skill. Did I obtain it by killing him? Sighing internally, he turned back to the dead, more specifically the lead villain. I know you're alive. Get up. The body flinches. Why did you try to act dead? You trying to run without anyone knowing? The villain shakily got up on his hands and kneed, blood slowly dripping from a cut on his neck. You can't talk. 𝐾𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 was pretty brutal. He precisely cut the vocal cords. He grabbed the man by the back of his shirt's collar. Probably would have killed you in the most painful way possible after ensuring you wouldn't be able to scream. At this rate you'll bleed out. If we go out to the medics you would probably live. Yes, I'm saved. Izuku dragged him down the tunnel. This way is. Panicking, he tried to wiggle away. Stay still. This isn't the way out. He stopped before a large wooden door. This place is. The boss and its army of goblins stood before them. Izuku dragged the man in and threw him ahead as he leaned against the door to make sure there was no way out. Do you remember the faces of all your victims? He asked. The shadow of the hood made it impossible to see his face. You're trash even beyond 𝐾𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫. A blue glow came from the hood. No way I'd take a monster like you outside. The monsters approached like an army of starved children. After all, the goblins attacked, ripping flesh from bone. All monsters die in the dungeon. The man died quietly, unable to scream or beg for mercy. A silent wail echoed throughout the distance, unheard by all. Defeating the hobgoblin boss wasn't too difficult of a task. And after leaving the dungeon, Death Arms and Bakugo explained to the guild employee what happened. The employee understood the situation was truly out of control and hurriedly called her superiors. And one of the elites arrived quickly on the scene. Tsukachi, God, I hate this new promotion. Why couldn't I just stay a detective? He sighed, realizing his coffee was empty. How long has it been since the dungeon was cleared? Tsukachi asked, tipping his hat to the lady who had called. It's been about 40 minutes, sir. He nods. Only 20 minutes left then. It's been too long. Try and recover the bodies in 8 minutes. If impossible, quit and return back. Did the survivors clear the dungeon themselves? Sansa asked, hurrying to catch up. Yes, sir. The lady then proceeded to explain everything she had been told. 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 tried to kill the remaining hunters during a contract assassination. If that's true, then he would have intentionally left corpses behind, but he deliberately closed off the dungeon. This means he had something to hide. His eyes lock onto a familiar freckled face, Midoriya Izuku. Is this really the same little boy? We meet again, Hunter. He joked. Ah, his eyes lit up with recognition. You're Detective 𝐬𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 from the hospital. Tsukachi smiles. You've got a good memory, kid. But why do we always have to meet up after something bad happens? But it seems like it was one of our employees that caused you great harm, so I would like to apologize for what happened here today, and I want you to know I will be handling this case so you have nothing to worry about. Izuku didn't really care who handled the case. He was too distracted by the magical energy washing of the detective. It's not the time to be full of myself just because I killed the B rank assassin. Izuku's eyes lit a pale blue. I didn't see it before, but this man is strong. Golden power leaked off him. As a member of the police force, I have some questions I would like to ask you. There's something strange about his power, but he's an A rank. Why would someone so strong become a detective? Things would run smoothly if you all cooperate. Will that be okay? The three of them all agree. Then let me ask this directly. Who killed the B rank 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫? I probably can't hide that I've been reawakened now. Looks like I'll have to void my contract with ― since he wants a skillful yet low-ranked hunter. It was me. Death Arms stepped forward. I'm the one that killed him. Tsukachi's eye twitched. It a lie, but if you don't mind, would you tell me your rank? I'm a C rank. And how could a C rank kill a B rank? Do you see who's behind me? The blonde's a B rank as well. He helped me fight Kong, but I ultimately dealt the final blow. Lie rung through his head. There's got to be a reason for such a prideful man to lie like this. Oh. If you did receive support from a B rank, I guess you could have beaten him. It's most likely that Death Arms is taking the blame and the B rank is really the one who killed him. Come with me for now. I'm afraid I'm going to need your help filling out reports. The detective walked away, taking Bakugo with him. Why did you lie? Izuku looked to the hero. I assumed you had a reason to hide your abilities. Besides, the hero patted his shoulder. You can't escape the investigations anyways. But I needed to pay you back for my actions in that dungeon somehow, so I can at least do this for you. Tsukachi came back. Hunter Midoriya Izuku, I don't think an E rank like you could have killed a B rank like Hunter Kong. I also think that it's unnecessary to suspect you of reawakening. However, I think I should warn you. Someone guided Death Arms away. That C rank gate where you and that D rank were the only survivors. One of the men who died was connected to the Yakuza. Since we can't find proof of any crimes, the law can't stop them. It doesn't matter what actually happened during that raid. The important part is that you survived. It'd be in your interest to watch out for him. The man turned away from him. Because you may be hunted by someone who even monsters fear. If possible, leavening the country with your loved ones isn't a bad idea. Status name, Midoriya Izuku. Level, 27. Job, none. Fatigue, 0. Title, ― HP, 5114 MP, 548 Strength, 72 Vitality, 43 Agility, 82 Intelligence, 39 Sense, 69 Physical Damage Reduction, 20% active. Remaining points, 5. 3 hours later, during the investigation of Kang's murder, the gold business turned himself in, explaining he paid Kong to kill a prisoner and whoever got in his way, justifying our actions. It was all over the news, but the thing that won people's attention was, we are sad to announce that beloved heroes Backdraft and 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 have died after a fatal incident in a dungeon earlier today. The TV shut off. I just got another reason to get stronger. Overhaul a quirk that can kill with a single touch. I need to get stronger, fast. Only then will I survive. Izuku stood on a clean beach, the same one he met All Might at a couple of months ago. Over the past months he had been cleaning said beach while doing his daily quests here. He even found and cleared a D-rank dungeon while he was at it. Greenie. A pink-haired girl jumped down the stairs in her rush to get to him. May be careful. If he had a dungeon for every time he said that he would be level 100, who did the jacket go? Did it rip? What happened? Mei was an E rank that he met when he was cleaning the beach. She was using the scraps to make new babies, as she called them. The jacket was perfect Mei. The jacket he wore to his last raid was made by her after she found out a lot of his clothing was destroyed in raids. So the new fabric worked as I hoped. This is great. Since you already gave me your hero suit idea and I have your measurement, I'll get to work on it ready for when we get into you. She like ‡ and him was aiming for you. Even if it was only for the support course. Now. She puts her hands on her hips. What you got for me? Izuku rolled his eyes and put his bag down and grabbed out a lump of hair and magic crystals, hobgoblin hair and goblin magic crystals from a C rank gate. The girl squealed in delight. Look at the density of the hair, there are so many things I can use this for, and I've got so many tests I want to do with these crystals. She crushed him in a bone-crushing hug. HP. Thanks, Greenie. Rubbing his sore ribs, he smiled at the girl's antics. He had long since given up on her saying his name. I'm in a rush today, so I won't be able to hang around. The girl just waved him off and grabbing the material he provided her. Do whatever it is you boys do. Just be back next week. I'm working on new shoes that reduce fall damage and I need a test subject. Izuku nods, already fearing for his life. If he dies, it's not gonna be thanks to a dungeon. No, it's gonna be her throwing him off a skyscraper to test one of her babies. Will do. He ran for the hills literally. ‡ what all this? He deadpanned, looking at the people in the little clearing. The purple teen smirked. What do you mean? This is our teammates for today. People with a hunter's license but are unable to raid for various reasons. Injured, alcoholics and the poor. People who came for a quick crash grab so we can fill the head count. I already explained why they're here, so all we have to do is go in. Izuku nodded as he shoved his hands in his pockets. By law, a C rank raid needs 10 people, so here they are. The 8 people muttered amongst themselves as they watched the 2 teens. A C rank dungeon with just the 2 of them. Are they really that strong? Will you really give 3 million yen to each of us even if we stay outside? One spoke up. That's what the contract said, didn't it? 3 million for each of you per raid. All yous have to do is sit here and look pretty. ‡ smirked and the people looked among themselves in varying amounts of disbelief. However, you must not mention this to anyone. If you do, have to pay back 10 times the amount you earned. Izuku shook his head. He knew ‡ was sarcastic, but he didn't expect him to be dramatic as well. Let's just get this over with. Both Izuku and ‡ walked into the swirling blue gate. They're gonna raid a C rank gate by themselves. They don't look that strong. A man with a broken leg stood using his crutch. What happens if they die? The man who spoke earlier rubbed the back of his neck, his white cap the only thing that made him stand out. Well, we did receive our money, so we will be fine, but them. One of the 2 that entered is E rank hunter Midoriya Izuku. He's known as the weakest survivor. That name. He's from the first dungeon. A poor man walked up, and our raid leader's a D rank. Tsuke, they're just showing off, I guess. Youths showing off will naturally harm many people. Sometime later ‡ comes running out. Izuku followed him calmly. Oh, you came back alive. The man with the white cap sounded surprised. Looks like you ran away successfully. Crutches joked. Thank God. Wait, a blonde man yelled. He wasn't running away. Look at that. The gate crackled as it shrunk into itself. The G gate is closing. Izuku walked up to the breathing purple-haired boy. That killed the B-boss. Where's the next one? ‡ glared at him, jealous of his stamina as he tried to catch his breath. It's about an hour away from here. He turned to the extras. All right, let's get moving. We have to clear 3 dungeons today. That is, I'm assuming you'll all go, considering it's an easy 9 million for each of you. Yes. Of course. White Hat stuttered. They're raiding again, even after destroying a C rank dungeon all by themselves. What are they? The once growling werewolf's jaw clicked shut as it shook in fear of the ghost-like human that kept dispersing and reappearing with a gust of wind. Izuku rushed past the werewolf and its 2 friends, and before they could process the pain, they exploded into bloody bits and pieces. Was he also hiding that skill all this time? It even seems like he got stringier than before. ‡ questioned himself as he stepped over a wolf leg, kind of disappointed he couldn't even get a hit in. Status name, Midoriya Izuku, level 39, job, none fatigue, 0 title, Wolf Slayer, HP 7229 MP, 638 strength, 97 vitality, 59 agility, 97 intelligence, 51 sense, 81 physical damage reduction, 20% active remaining points, 0 alarm skill. Sprint has leveled up. Alarm skill, 𝐴𝐵, 1 has been learned. Alarm skill, Advanced Dagger Arts LV, 1 has been learned. I've leveled up quite a bit and obtained some new fun skills over the past couple of days. That rune I got from Kong, once I broke it I gained his stealth skill. The problem is the amount of mana it eats up. I wasn't gonna increases my intelligence stat, but I might have to. Ooh. 2 more werewolves charged at them which 𝗀𝐿 grinned his scarf shooting out to take one on. He may have been D rank but he also had good gear and instincts so Izuku wasn't worried about the boy. Leaning to the side the hair on the wolf's arm brushed past his face as Izuku activated his 2 newest skills. 3 soccer ball-sized holes were stabbed through the wolf's chest. This seems good. He smiled happily at the useful new skills Advanced Dagger Arts and Vital Strike work together to perfectly kill the monster. 𝗀𝐿's wolf fell with a thud and the boy turned and smirked at him thinking he had killed his wolf first only to pout behind his mask at seeing Izuku calmly standing over another body. Alarm, you leveled up. Alarm, the player has reached the required level. Required level. Izuku's brows furrowed in confusion. Quest alarm, a job change quest has arrived. Quest alert, will you accept the quest? Accept, refuse, job change. Right, I don't have a job on my title screen. He whispers, hey. 𝗀𝐿 called out to him, what's with the constipated face? Don't wimp out on me now. He jokes, I may have become a better fighter over our time in the dungeons but not good enough to take down a C rank boss. Just yet. He whispers the last bit to himself. Izuku quickly accepts the quest for later and walks ahead taking 𝗀𝐿's silent challenge with a laugh. As if I would wimp out, you would be helpless without me. Izuku waited until he had finished all 19 gates with 𝗀𝐿 to do the job change, not wanting to be seen when he entered and exited. Izuku had gone into the local forest and over the fallen tree that Katsuki had fallen off when they were younger to get to a clearing. Okay, let's get started. Izuku spread his fingers together before stretching out. Job change, he calls out as the familiar electricity starts to form a portal in front of him. The gate that crackled to life wasn't blue or red, no, it seemed to be purple. This seems interesting. Izuku's hair swayed in the evening wind. I have a month, tell you. Exam. This might be one of the last dungeons I go to before then. I wonder what's waiting inside. Izuku walks through the portal, purple swirled around him. At last this game. He found himself in a large hallway. The only light was from the torches on each side of the hall. Seemed to start for real. He looks around, and it reminded him of an old castle. The arches were so high that the light of the touches barely touched the roof. The sound of metal clashing moving together made Izuku jump to the side as a silver knight swings its sword down, destroying the floor instead of hitting Izuku. Using Vital Strike he stabs at its chest. Clang! The blade does nothing but scratch the armor. Izuku leaned back like he was doing limbo as the knight's sword swung across, almost taking off his head. Anyone up for world's deadliest limbo? Izuku thought. Izuku slams his blade against the knight's armor again, scratches of metal clashing with the metal chest plate sound off. But Izuku did notice something about the armor. He's not that strong, but that armor is thick. Izuku jumps backward again as the sword slams against the floor, cracking it. His movements are dull and attacks are weaker than C rank monsters. The knight swings again. His only strong point is defense. Izuku had enough of this useless fight and dashed around the knight before jumping on his shoulders. Izuku grabs the base of the helmet. I learned this before with that snake, but if my blade can't hurt you, I know I absolutely can. Izuku's fingers dug in and bent the metal upwards as he ripped the helmet off the knight in 2 bits, making the body kneel down and go with a lazy thud. It's weak against drawn-out battles, so can this even be counted as a proper monster? Alarm, you have slain a knight. Izuku tapped the empty set of armor, a doll type. It's gonna get annoying if more show up. Izuku looks down the dark hallway annoyed before he picks a torch off the wall. It's still pretty dark in here. But it's going to be even more annoying as my damage slowly accumulates. Izuku's face stays emotionless while looking at 2 warnings. Alarm: you cannot leave this dungeon until you have cleared it. Alarm: in this area, your potion and shop ability are restricted. On level up, you do not receive status healing. Izuku dismisses the alarms. Stealth and Vital Strike have good efficiency, but they use too much mana. So I should have put some points into intelligence. Izuku looks back at the dark hall that he was sure more knights resided within. Damn it, this quest, it's unknown difficulty, no healing, no retreat. It's way too risky for my liking. Izuku took a deep breath of the dust smoke-infused air to collect himself. This job change quest can't be underestimated. I don't know how many hours or weeks it could take to clear the quest, and I have way to heal. Izuku's heart drops into his stomach. Wait, did I even do my daily quest today? Izuku shivered at the thought of the multi-legged beasts. I better get this finished quickly. I've been traumatized by centipedes enough for one life. Izuku would scream if he did not do his daily quest and ended up dying in that desert. Wait. His eyes brightened at his new idea. Last time I just ran away, but this time I'm stronger. Couldn't I just kill them instead? Metal clanged down the hall, the moving of armor. He holds up his torch and the light bounce off a wall of rusting knights moving his way. Before any of that, yous need to get out of my way. Izuku dropped his torch on the ground. Izuku charged in with his fists and hits the first knight, making its chest piece cave in from the hit. The knight was thrown back into a second knight, making them both shoot down the hall. The other two turn back to see their buddies get knocked away, distracted. Izuku jumps forward, stomping on one's helmet, forcing the metal to scrunch and break, falling into the chest. The sound of metal rolling around the chest was music to Izuku's ears. Izuku jumps off of the knight's shoulders and attacks the next one, wrapping his arm around its head and interlocking his fingers together in a one-armed headlock. Izuku squeezed his arms and the helmet of the knight easily crushes under Izuku's strength. Jumping off, he rips the helmet off its body. If I can't cut them, I'll just target where bones would be. Izuku drops the broken helmet to the side. Alarm: you have slain a knight. You have slain a knight. You have slain a knight. Izuku kneels down to one knee, checking the armor. There's a few that dropped decent items at least. Item: leather pouch type. Container: a pouch made to carry money. Item: high knight's chest plate. Item class: B type. Armor +7 physical damage reduction, slows movement speed if your strength is below 80. It's great that armor type items don't force you to see them if you equip them. Izuku watches as the armor chest plate appears transparent before disappearing altogether, leaving him in his black hoodie. But can this really protect me when you can't even see it? Izuku rubs his chest, his fingers gliding over the invisible armor. Izuku holds the pouch out and laughed in joy. I can even make easy cash from this. 30,000 gold per bag. Total gold: 863,400 G. Izuku's nerves tingle, alarming. The arm holding his blade goes up before his eyes could even follow, stabbing into an invisible enemy that turns into what looks to be a cloth knight through its head. Alarm: you have slain a knight. Stealth. Izuku's stomach twisted as the body fell over. Since when could monsters use stealth? Izuku hears something whizzing towards him. He turns sideways, letting a fireball whiz past him. He looks down the hallway. A magician this time. Moreover, it uses fire magic. The thing looks like the DMN Grim Reaper. The magician's bone-like hand stretches out, sparking up another attack while the raged hood covers its face in shadows. Stealth, and then it looks like the fire quirk that JRK from the dungeon used. Izuku's eyes harden. It's as if more knights begin to appear, it copying every dungeon I've ever been in. And Izuku's eyes scan the gathering monsters. This place is harder than I thought. Izuku goes on the attack. Since they're different types of monsters, each one makes me use different stats to take them down. Strength for knights, sense for assassins, agility for archers, and vitality for magicians. Izuku analyzes everything quickly, knowing he wouldn't have time later. Izuku shot through the enemies, killing all of them easily, only to come out breathing on the other side from the number of them. Any I kill just come back in double, and my fatigue just keeps rising. Fatigue, 66. After clearing out the hall, he sits back against the wall. The longer this goes on, the worse it is for me. He closes his eyes as his head drops. He hand stops a silver arrow aimed for his head and stands, F. They're not even giving me the chance to rest. The arrow snaps in half in his grip as a new wave of 𝐴𝐵 reveal themselves. The sounds of fighting began once again. Item: leather pouch has been opened. 20,000 gold water bottle filled with lukewarm water has been obtained. Sighing with relief, he chugged the water and ran his hand through his sweaty hair. I leveled up a little bit and ended up gathering some useful items. So I should head to the next stage while my fatigue is lowered, or else I'm as good as dead. Warden's necklace, a high knight's chest plate, B high knight's gauntlet, B archer's gloves, C high magician's ring, B assassin's boots, B. Izuku walked up the stairs to the fancy gold, black and red door. Sense on high alert. It seems even after I leveled up so much, I still can't comprehend the strength and skill of the thing behind this door. Boss room, pushing on the rose-red center of the shield-like markings opening the door. Frigid wind gushed out, roughing his hair. A chilliness that makes your spirit shiver. He walked in as the torches lit the room, a king's throne room. A lone throne sat empty on the other side of the room. Metal clacks against the ground softly. Izuku's heart clenches as his eyes lock in place, ears hum, and fingertips feel numb. This sensation. His heart starts to beat fast. It's the same as the first time. This chilly feeling. A beeled red knight steps in front of the throne, larger than the rest he had seen. A cape droned his shoulder and his sword was sheathed. A large red feather-like ponytail rose from the back of its devil-horned helmet. It seems like this guy the final boss. Status name: Midoriya Izuku. Level: 45. Job: none. Fatigue: 43. Title: 𝐴𝐵 HP: 4511/8330 MP: 660/790. The knight walked out and stood in front of the throne. Izuku almost laughed at how dead he was. BL'd Red Commander 𝐒𝐮𝐻. The dark red name almost seemed like a death sentence. It pulled its sword out, letting it drag behind it as it walked down the stairs leading to the throne. A knight that protects an empty throne. It's here. He drooped to his knees, black and gold blur as the large sword passes over him. He stares horrified into silver eyes as the pillars behind him are ripped down like a hurricane. Holy 𝐶. This strength is insane. Plunging his dagger in, it scrapes and bounces off the breastplate, not even leaving a scratch, just like the others. 𝐒𝐮𝐻's arm went up. Izuku eyes tracking it the entire way. The arm fell. Stone shattered and cloud of dirt exploded out, blocking his view from where he had jumped away. Something glints from inside. Leaning back, 𝐒𝐮𝐻 was in front of him again, sword shining above him as the dirt cloud was cleared by the quick movement. Gold and black came down, scraping against Izuku's blade as he ran behind the knight, out of its reach. The armor speed reduction is only applied if your strength is below. This guy's strength is definitely over. Its destructiveness is definitely higher than mine. The knight turns to Izuku as its silver eyes stared at him from the corner of its mask, and the same for agility. His armor can block my dagger, which means even his defense is higher. Can I even beat this thing? I never imagined I'd face something this strong here. He dismissed his dagger. I don't think I can win without a weapon, but he cracks his knuckle. If I can't penetrate, then this is the only way. I don't have a chance if I don't. It was at this point that the knight did something that truly surprised him. It stabbed its sword into the ground, leaving it behind as it threw off its cape and the two daggers on its back. Chivalry. Izuku crouches, a knight of honor then. Izuku couldn't do anything as it ran, punching him in the chest, then grabbing his hood and throwing him into the wall. His body was still in the wall when it came again. Izuku barely had time to block the punch. Izuku went through the wall and into a different room, skidding. I blocked the hit, but I still lost around 500 health. If I didn't have this armor, then 𝐒𝐮𝐻 walked through the hole in the wall. I won't survive if I keep taking hits dead on. You're insanely strong even without your sword. How do I even put up a decent fight against this monster? Even if I'm weaker, I still have speed. He ran. Alarmed skill, sprint was activated. Movement speed will increase by 30%. Mana will be consumed every minute. Izuku punched the monster in the gut and brought his arm up to defend as it brought its elbow down for his head. Knocking its arm back, the two clashed again in a wave of punches, metal clashing with flesh. It doesn't last long as 𝐒𝐮𝐻 gets the upper hand and tries to slam him into the ground. Dodging the blow scrapes his side, making him spin in the air. Alarm, as your health has dropped below 30%, skill, perseverance, will activate. Damage taken will be reduced by 50%. He uses the spin to his advantage and sticks out his leg, kicking 𝐒𝐮𝐻 in the head. With my defense increased, I still have a chance. The knight doesn't move an inch. I can't give up. 𝐒𝐮𝐻 grabs his leg, 𝐶RP, and spins, throwing him into yet another wall. Falling from the wall, he laughs, blood dripping from his mouth. Ha. He sat on the throne, head bowed. 𝐒𝐮𝐻 walked up next to him and lifted his hand. The black and gold sword ripped out of the ground and landed in its open hand. In one smooth movement, the blade came down on his neck. A shock wave rang out as the blade was caught in Izuku's palm, the highlight of a gauntlet lighting up. He summoned his dagger, haven't, grinning like all might lost yet, and stabbed his blade into 𝐒𝐮𝐻's silver eye. It shrieked in pain, sounding like nails against a chalkboard. Izuku jumped forwards, tackling it by the waist. 𝐒𝐮𝐻 ripped the dagger out. I won't hand this item to anyone else. The dagger disappeared back into his inventory from the knight's hand. 𝐒𝐮𝐻 stood back up. I can take back my stolen dagger. His dagger formed in his hand, 𝐒𝐮𝐻's ghostly white blood no longer on it, and call it again. Screaming, he jammed it into the gap between the neck and the helmet. It's shallow, I need more. Vital strike, vital strike, vital strike, vital strike. One last time he dug the dagger in deeper, and 𝐒𝐮𝐻 stopped resisting and fell to his knees, white pouring onto the floor. Alarm, you have slain blood red Commander 𝐒𝐮𝐻. Alarm, you leveled up. You leveled up. Izuku sunk back to the ground against a pillar opposite to the dead knight, huffing, did I win? His entire body shook in relief and exhaustion. That was really close. Shakily he walked over. Everything I did, you were much better than me. Izuku looks down at the knight. It was pure luck that I even won. Izuku was slowly getting his breath back. You were so strong, I would have died if I made a mistake. I bet you could have gone toe-to-toe with an A-rank hunter. The items better be worth it. You have received 1,500,000 gold. Total gold, 3,115,629 G. It doubled my gold in an instant. Izuku's eyes shine with excitement as he moved to the next thing. Item, Red Knight's Helmet. Item class, S-type, armor plus 15 physical damage reduction. Plus 20 stamina, plus 20 strength. This is crazy. Aside from the Demon Castle key, this is the first time I've gotten my hands on S-rank equipment. He put the helmet on, the stats are crazy. Strength, 128 plus 20 vitality, 87 plus 20 agility, 127 intelligence, 66 sense, 89 physical damage reduction, 46% plus 15% equipped, and a rune. Izuku holds up a red stone with glowing white design running through it. And a green stone. Rune stone, Dominator's touch type. Rune stone, a skill can be obtained by breaking the rune. Wonder what skill it will give me. Izuku hums before looking at the second stone. And a hearthstone. Why was I given a hearthstone? This is the boss room. Item, Hearthstone type, consumable, a quest exclusive item. If you break the hearthstone, you will instantly leave the dungeon. If the job quest ends, the dungeon is automatically destroyed. Cannot be stored. His mind ran rampant, coming up with ideas before he settled on one. If a hearthstone was dropped, then does this mean the quest is not over yet? Like as if his words were a trigger, a swirling mess of colors appeared, then another and another. His heart was caught in his throat as reality caught up to him. The job change quest will begin. I knew it. There's no way that was the end. The longer you last, the more points you can collect, which will place you into a higher tier job. Midnight inch points. Izuku stares at the message above him. The longer I last. Good luck. 1 second out from the portal stepped more knights, like when he first stepped into the dungeon. With every second a new one stepped through. See, I can't take these guys with my current condition. Izuku lowers himself. If they were on the level of 𝐒𝐮𝐻, then this would just be a massacre, but Izuku looks up at the time. 14 seconds. The chance of obtaining a hidden class goes up the longer the timer goes on. It's befitting for a job change quest. Izuku thinks as he was slowly surrounded by knights. My remaining mana is stealth, requires 200 mana on use. Izuku's presence slowly disappears as he activates said skill. I'll still have 190 mana left. 1 mana every second after that to maintain it. The knights go still unable to find him. I can buy 3 minutes with stealth. The knights slowly look around at him. I still have enough HP and MP, so I can try to last as long as possible. The magician is using skill detection. A magician stood by the side, hands alight by power as a large eye spawns above it. The glowing purple cat's eye locked onto him. It found me even with my stealth. He deactivated his stealth since it was useless, and the two knights closest to him turned and attacked. He turned to the knights closest with a 𝐵𝐿D skill. 𝐵𝐿D Lust was activated. Outlined in blue, the knights froze in place. The stats of the target will decrease by 50% for 1 minute. He jumped from one knight's head to another, destroying them. 𝐵𝐿D Lust's mana consumption is I only get one chance. He broke another with his hands by crushing the metal helmet. I have to deal with as many of you as I can in this window. No matter how many he killed, it was like a hydra, and eventually his luck ran out and he was struck in the back. HP 1036/10278. They come out of the gates faster than I can deal with them. Passive skill Perseverance is activating. Damn it. I took this too lightly. I wasted too much mana on stealth. I won't be able to use my skills soon. Should I use the Hearthstone? He blocked another attack. I don't know what job I will get, but at my current level the difficulty is too high. If I give up now, I give up the quest. What's the time? Disrepair fills him, seeing that he barely had 5 minutes. There's no way. I have to leave. The Hearthstone is flung from his hand as he's hit in the shoulder by a sledgehammer. Knocked to the ground, surrounded, he glares, whipping out those closest to him with his one good arm. It can't end like this. I'm so close. He appeared above them in one good jump. Because I was at rock bottom, I longed for the highest place. I know the sadness of being weak more than anyone. How much help could a quirkless person even be? Everyone else is so strong and has great potential, but that one. How did he even survive this long? To think something so under-evolved counts as a human. Quirkless Deku, Katsuki was stood next to him, grinning from the dark. Give it a rest, Deku. Izuku, you can rest now. No need to worry, Mama's got you. Inko was rubbing his shoulder as Izuku glares past them, gritting his teeth. Wasn't that all your fault? Izuku froze at that. The voice was his, softer yet malicious. Why do you always move away from the safe road and dance with death on every occasion? Izuku's younger self had a nasty smirk on his face. Isn't it for a great fortune that a quirkless like you was able to grow this much? Izuku slowly turned to stares at himself. Isn't that right, Deku? His younger self stood with a kind smile that he knew was fake from experience. Wow, is this really me? Izuku's younger self circles him like a shark. I can't believe that we're the same person. Izuku felt like his mom's eyes were on him, but this time it was his own. You're taller, gained a lot of muscle, and look sharper. You look quite strong as well. But the only thing that changed was your appearance. Deku smirks while standing next to Izuku. You're still a weakling. What's the difference between you and me? You got yourself in a situation where you're in front of death once more. Both Izuku and Deku look up, seeing 3 knights coming down with their swords. Izuku quickly strikes them in the gut. Quirkless Deku, in the end, that all you are. Deku frowns while watching Izuku hold back a knight. If you don't know how to control yourself, your courage becomes recklessness, Deku warns. Shut up. He tries to push the knight away, but nothing happens and it strikes him instead. With just 2 hits he found himself face down, pinned to the ground. You have a long way to go, Deku says from the other side of the Sea of Knights. From now on, you have to kill more people and sacrifice or leave behind a lot of people. Including friends and family. Izuku would have glared if it didn't hurt so much to move. You will be the one to bring about your own demise. A knight stands over Izuku, ready to kill him as he brings the sword above its head. What? It's the same as back then. Izuku felt something in himself freeze. But what happened? After that, Izuku's eyes crack open. I can't remember. Quest directions: daily quest. Getting ready to become powerful. Push-ups 0 out of 100, curl-ups 0 out of 100, curl-ups 0 out of 100, squats 0 out of 100, running 0/10 km. Warning. Failing to complete this daily quest will bring a punishment associated with this quest. The clock ticked down. 8 seconds left, 7 seconds left, 6 seconds left, 5 seconds left. The clock quickly turns red. Is the daily quest ending? They say that luck is also a skill. His younger self was still there. It looks like leaving you to die here is too much of a waste for it. His younger self turns around, glaring at Izuku. See you. 0 seconds left. The sword came down, growing closer and closer as the world around him shifts. Alarm: you failed to complete the daily quest. You are being moved to the penalty zone. The knight stood confused when all its blade his was hard concrete. The sun blazed above him as he sat up in the desert once more. This. The penalty zone. He sighed as he slowly stood up. I guess I really mustn't have done today's daily quest. He checked his health. What good timing. I didn't think I was gonna survive that. HP, 93/10278 MP, 202/850 foot fatigue, 91, the time even said, good luck. When it began, was the quest so hard that it had to wish me luck? Or was it trying to encourage me to get more points? I don't really care if you call it luck or coincidence, but I'm alive. Store. The blue screen popped up showing 4 different potions. I think this is the tiredest I've ever been. Izuku groans before buying a potion. Since I'm stacked with gold, I should just get the best potion. He got the red one. Mythical Restoration Potion. 000G. He gulped down the last of the cold liquid like it was the only fresh water in the desert, and well, it kind of was. Your fatigue is being restored. Your fatigue is being restored. Your fatigue is being restored. It looks like while my fatigue can be restored by potions, my health cannot. I have to wait for it naturally, or... This isn't the job change quest dungeon zone, so maybe I'll be able to heal my HP by leveling up here. He dropped the empty glasses. Even if I might die in one hit. He rubbed his neck, his hair covered one eye and the other glowed blue, standing out amongst the yellow sand. I've never felt better. The sand around him shifts and rises. The question is if the monsters will help me level up. The centipedes rose up, sanding from their skeletal-looking bodies, but I shouldn't have to be worried about that. As one attacked, he easily jumped on its head and sliced through its skull. See you. BLD splat as he stabbed it again. Sure. If we can survive until the end. Alarm: penalty quest. Survive goal. Survive until the time runs out. Time required. 4 hours remaining time. 4 hours 0 minutes and 0 seconds. If the pain doesn't kill me. Izuku rips his dagger out of the dead centipede's head before picking out another and attacking another. It will only make me stronger. At the Midoriya apartment, Inko walked around the living room, her eyes flicking from the clock to the door. Why is he not back home yet? I know he got a job, but is he really working this late? Inko worries her lip as she sits on the couch so she can catch him when he comes in, or maybe he got a girlfriend. No, he would have told me. Inko looked back at the clock. He'll be home soon, right? She closed her eyes for a quick nap. Penalty quest. Survive goal. Survive until the time runs out. Time required. 4 hours. Time remaining. 0 hours 15 minutes and 22 seconds. Izuku slices through a centipede using Vital Strike, blowing a chunk out of its side. Vital Strike skill has leveled up. You leveled up. You leveled up. You leveled up. You leveled up. Izuku looked around what was once a desert and smirks, seeing the sand covered in hundreds of dead centipedes. As expected, penalty zones allow you to heal through leveling up. Since I can use the store as well, I can keep healing the rest with potions. Izuku guzzled down another potion. Name: Midoriya. Izuku. Level: 51 HP, 11035 MP, 1022 fatigue, 0. I have 3 minutes before I return to the job change quest. Izuku jumps over the dead centipedes to get to a clear bit of the desert. I still have some time to prepare. Risaka's Fong isn't enough to pierce through the knight's defense. He de-summons said dagger. I'll have to do everything I can. But I need a stronger weapon. Store, Izuku calls out. A dagger suitable for piercing heavy armor. Store Guardian Saber 890,000G Oracle Sword. 1,300,000G Stone Axe. 1,800,000G Night Killer. 2,800,000G Found it. Izuku grins, excited for what's about to happen. You have purchased Night Killer. 2,800,000 gold. Izuku holds out his hand as blue electricity sparks from his palm. It's a bit expensive, but with this, it'll be different from last time. Izuku holds the handle of a long black dagger with a jagged red curved blade. Item, Night Killer item class. B-type, dagger plus 75 attack effect. 𝐻𝐿. If used against an opponent with heavy armor, your attacks deal 25% additional damage. Izuku proceeds to buy his bandages and wraps them around his right hand with the dagger's handle. If I do this, then I won't drop the weapon like the Hearthstone. Izuku looks ahead, holding the dagger up ready to go back. There's no other way, I have to try it out. Izuku looks down at his left hand, seeing the red rune from the BLD Knight. I also have this to use. Izuku crushes the runestone. The last runestone I used gave me stealth, that means this time. Skill, Dominator's Touch, has been learned. Izuku feels the new power surge through his body. Skill, Dominator's Touch LV. 1 active skill, no mana required, you can control objects without touching them. A skill that doesn't use mana. Effective. Izuku smiles. I can tell it's really useful just by reading the description. Izuku holds out his hand, trying to use the skill on one of the dead bodies. It did not move as your proficiency is too low. Guess I can't move objects that are too big. Izuku shrugs, lowering his hand. Penalty quest, survive goal, survive until the time runs out. Time required, 4 hours, time remaining, 0 hours 0 minutes and 4 seconds, time remaining, 0 hours 0 minutes and 3 seconds, this is my last chance. Izuku thought to himself, seeing the time quickly dropping. Time remaining, 0 hours 0 minutes and 2 seconds, I guess this is the most I can prepare. Izuku takes one last breath of the hot sandy air, collecting himself. Time remaining, 0 hours 0 minutes and 1 second, time remaining, 0 hours 0 minutes and 0 seconds, I'll leave the next part to my luck. Izuku jokes to himself as the desert fades away. The penalty quest is concluding. A sea of shining knights stared him down once he appeared on the other side. Only a few hours and your numbers grew this much. Knights charged him as soon as they spotted him. You're like rabbits. With quick, easy movements he sliced them into bits of scrap metal. Night Killer's effect is definitely helpful. Quickly every wave that came before him fell. It's so much more effective than just fighting with my bare hands. In the little break he gets between waves he looked around. There's something strange about this stage. I don't feel my level rise at all even when I'm up against these numbers. In the penalty zone I could level up, and even 𝐒𝐮𝐬𝐵 gave me experience. The system said that the healing effect from leveling up would be restricted, not that leveling up itself was restricted. He spotted 2 magicians in the back. Although the magicians have been using incantations all this time, they haven't attacked me even once, only the knights have been attacking. Then what spell are they casting? A debuff or some kind of curse magic? No, I can't feel anything like that. Could it be summoning magic? As time passes, the knights appear from the gate and increase in numbers. He kills off the next wave. No matter how many I kill, they don't give me experience. Jumping up over the sea of metal, his hand sparks. These aren't monsters, they're summons, so they won't give me experience. Meaning I only need to take the summoners out. His original dagger forms in his hand, magicians. The dagger goes flying, ripping the magic user in half. It's you guys. You have slain a magician. As dark mist rises from the body and fades, only leaving a torn cloak behind, a number of knights fell apart. Know that their summoner was gone. In fact, it seems like the knights have summoned Trough the gate by the magicians. Skill, dagger throw, has been learned. This is not the end. I have to find the remaining magicians. Izuku vanishes. Skill, stealth LV. 1 magician is using skill, detection, 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 magician is using skill, detection. More purple cat-like eyes appear around the room. You may have found my position. He hung off a pillar, but thanks to that, I found yours as well. There are 5 magicians remaining. Activating Dominator's Touch, his dagger flew back to him. He sprung down, slicing up the closest magician. You have slain a magician. Only 4 left. Izuku ran through the crowd, slicing up knights with 1 dagger and returned the other to crush and rip of heads with Dominator's Touch. I'll slice you all to pieces. Standing on two of a little hill of dead knights, his lack of constraint led him to being stabbed through the back. Turning, he cuts the knight's head off and breaks the blade inside him in half. Ripping out the bloody blade, he drops it with a clang and reaches toward a magician. "How long are you going to hide behind you knights?" Sprinting up, he held it by the neck in one hand and sliced through with the other. "You have slain a magician. 3 left." Power explodes from side, and he looks over, finding the tree magicians had gathered and were working together to cast a spell. The bodies of the dead started to shake and move together under his feet, with living knights creating once massive steel monster. "A golem." Said monster stood up, crashing into the roof in an attempt to crush him, but Izuku jumped down its body. The golem, following his movements, slammed its fist into the ground, kicking up a dirt cloud. Izuku bolted out of the cloud, aiming for the magicians. The numbers decreased in exchange for destructiveness. Now the time. He sliced through all 3 with one big swing. In a mix of clashes and bangs, the knights and golem fall apart. It would have taken more time if they weren't grouped up while summoning the golem. He looked up to the time. Is it finally over? 29:16. All the monsters in the room have been slain. The quest will end now. You're sure you're not gonna throw anything else at me? You will be able to choose a class based on the number of points you have collected. Finally, it's over and I can get my job now. Since I use a dagger, it's obvious that I should choose an assassin. A job will be granted after the player's actions have been analyzed. Granted. I'm not allowed to choose. Izuku thought about what he has done so far. I put all my stats into strength and agility. So I'll probably get either warrior due to my high strength or assassin because of my agility. Maybe even tank is possible with my high vitality stat. I'll be one of those 3. Either way, I'll become stronger. Wherever the player goes, the Reaper follows. The player's path is littered with corpses and the smell of blood. It sounds like I'll be an assassin. As the player possesses strength, he does not leave anything to his teammates and overcomes everything with his own strength. Okay, now it seems like a warrior. Your longing for strength burns strong enough to call those who wander the valley of death, and the army of the dead who follows your commands shall create a path where your tread will be the law, and you would never need another's help again. An army of the dead. What this? His eyes widen and palms sweat. This is my job. Your job is necromancer. What? I haven't even touched the intelligence stat once, so why? He yells, outraged. How could someone who raises the dead be a hero? Magic subclass necromancer, a grim magician, and the undead army that follows. I don't know if there are necromancers among hunters, but in games and stories they are the type of class to leave most of the fighting to their minions. I was a fighting type since I registered as an E rank. From the beginning, I only use swords and daggers, and the only skills I learned resemble those of an assassin, so why was this my chosen class? Skills: passive skills. Unknown LV. Max. Perseverance LV. 1. Advanced Dagger Arts LV. 1. Active skills. Sprint LV. 2. Bloodlust LV. 1. Vital Strike LV. 2. Dagger Throw LV. 1. Stealth LV. 1. Class skills: active skills. Shadow Extraction LV. 1. Save Shadow LV. 1. Stay calm Izuku. If you had to pick out the pros of necromancers, probably the fact that you can make your own army, as the system said. But such slaves cannot become stronger. It's possible that my stats might become useless. Izuku's head was splitting, trying to figure everything out. Stats: strength, 132 vitality, 91 agility, 111 intelligence, 70 sense, 93 alarm. Will you accept your job? Accept, refuse, I have a choice. Izuku's shoulders relaxed. If I decline, I hope that I can still earn a job. Izuku sighs. I'll refuse. Necromancer is a hidden class. Do you still wish to refuse? Hidden class. Izuku tilted his head. A hidden class. Only so many hunters have those, a reawakened who could create powerful shield or give buffs even though they aren't a healer. The White Tiger Guild's Emistart and S-rank Baek is even rumored to be able to turn into a monster. All these abilities are unique and strong. Are these special skills also a hidden class? Izuku tapped his chin in thought. Why am I thinking so hard about this if I'm able to experience having necromancer as a job firsthand? His eyes landed on a magician's cloak. Right, these magicians can be said to have used a similar ability to that of a necromancer. Izuku's case, it's as if somebody wanted to show me a sample of the skill. F it, I can't become the strongest by solo leveling anymore. Izuku accepted the job. Your job has been chosen. Black mist crawls out from the shadows. Based on the amount of points you obtained, you will be given a chance to promote to a superior class. The shadow mist ran along the walls. You exceeded the expected playtime. Points will be added. The shadows eclipsed room after room. You did not use a hearthstone. Points will be added. Shadows flooded the hall next to Izuku's room. Final health is above 50%. Points will be added. All enemies have been slain. Points will be added. Shadows surged into Izuku's room. The total points have exceeded the feat limit. Izuku turned just in time to watch the shadows engulf him. You will be promoted from necromancer to shadow lord. The shadows absorbed into Izuku's body. The new power sat comfortably in his body like a warm hug. Shadow lord. A promotion. You have learned a job-exclusive skill. Izuku checked himself over and nothing looked different. You have obtained bonus stats. You have obtained the title, the one who overcame adversity. The instant promotion, it's probably thanks to the points I accumulated. If I didn't get so many, I probably would have stayed a necromancer for quite some time. In the back of his mind, he can hear screams of pain all around. Investigating, he found that the bodice of the knights had shadows seeping out of them. Shadow extraction can be used on this target. Izuku looks around, seeing the same message on the bodies of knights. Of course, if a necromancer is a commander-type job, please select your command phrase for shadow extraction. Command phrase. Izuku thought for a second before his eyes turned blue. Arise. Shadows seeped from the armor, turning into limbs. Izuku watches in fascination as an army of shadows pulls themselves out from their old armor before standing at full height in front of Izuku, waiting for a command. Just like Izuku's eyes, they each had blue eyes. This is pretty cool. Skill, Shadow Extraction LV. One job-specific skill. No mana required. A shadow soldier is created from a body without life by taking its mana. The chance of failure increases the higher the target stats are, and the more time passed since the target's death. Shadows able to be extracted, 30-30 skill. Save Shadow LV. One job-specific skill. No mana required. You absorb created shadow soldiers and save them. Saved soldiers can be summoned and reabsorbed whenever and wherever the animator desires. Saved shadows. 0/20. Does that mean I can turn all the dead guys into summonable beings? Izuku looks at a regular knight, seeing it just waiting as a name pop above its head. Shadow Infantry LV. 1 rank. Normal. Izuku looks towards a magician. The same thing happened. Shadow Magician LV. 1 rank. Elite. 27 infantry and 3 magicians. I can create up to 30 shadow soldiers but only save 20 of them. Izuku puts his hands on his hips as he thought. You have reached the shadow extraction limit. Shadows able to be extracted, 30/30. What if I obtain the shadows of an A or S-ranked hunter, monster, or hero? Izuku looks over where 𝐻𝐿𝐼 was lying dead against the wall. My arsenal now contains 2 beings with A rank or stronger skills. Izuku walks over, seeing the message he wanted to see. He grins. Shadow extraction can be used on this target. If you want to use shadow extraction again, you must send 1 or more shadow soldiers to the world of nothingness through extraction cancel. Turning back to his army, he apologized. I'll have to remove the weakest 11 of you. I'm sorry I called yous back. He bumps his fist on one knight's chest. Cancel extraction on 11 infantry units. 11 soldiers collapsed into black flame-like shadows that quickly blow out. You cannot recall shadow soldiers that have been sent to nothingness. Not letting the wave of unease that had overcome him win, he turned back to 𝐻𝐿𝐼. BLD Red Commander 𝐻𝐿𝐼. If I have this guy as my servant. Arise. Shadows seeped out the cracks in the armor but exploded before they could take shape. You failed to extract the shadow. What? Izuku gaped at the sight. You still have 2 chances remaining. Izuku's brows furrowed. It's not easy. The extraction rate is based on the target's stats and the time after death. 𝐻𝐿𝐼 was a boss monster and it's been over 4 hours. This is going to be difficult. 2 chances remaining. Arise. The same thing as last time happened, you failed the extract the shadow. You still have 1 chance remaining. Izuku sighed, why won't you join me? He looked around the room and his eyes found the only thing untouched in the room. Throne. He reached out his hand to 𝐻𝐻, stop protecting the seat of someone who already left. He opened his palm for the commander to take, and try protecting me who is in front of you. Arise. In a burst of blue and black 𝐻𝐻's body shook and looked up as shadows rushed out. Izuku smirked, as a cape of shadows formed, 𝐵𝐿 𝐻𝐻. The cape fluttered down behind the massive black knight. No, you will simply be 𝐻𝐻. You have upgraded the shadows level will be shadows higher than rank knight can be named. You are now 𝐻𝐻. Izuku looks upward at the looming shadow in front of him. Just like the others, its eyes were blue and the shadows swirled, letting detailed patterns of armor be seen. 𝐻𝐻 LV. 7 rank, knight, you have successfully extracted the shadow. 𝐻𝐻 got down on 1 knee and bowed his head. The rest of the shadow army followed his lead and lowered themselves. Take good care of me. Status name, Midoriya Izuku level, 51 job, Shadow Monarch fatigue, 0. Title, Wolf Slayer plus 1 more HP, 11035 MP, 1022 Strength, 132 Vitality, 91 Agility, 111 Intelligence, 70 Sense, 93 Physical Damage Reduction, 46% equipped remaining points, 10, expand to see more.